these negotiations.
Vance will be in Switzerland for that. Fox's Aisha Hosni's in Geneva.
Some details of the deal are coming out now. The Wall Street Journal reports this. The U.S. will allow Iran to immediately begin selling oil and fuel under the deal to end the war, offering Tehran an early financial incentive to wind down the conflict. That is going to concern a lot of Iran hawks.
The deal intends to fully allow shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, extends the ceasefire 60 days, and allows for more nuclear negotiations. Potentially complicating things, Israel continues to attack Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Last night, the IRGC command issued a new warning that if Israel continues to strike Hezbollah in Lebanon, that there will be a response from the Iranians. There are also reports of drone attacks toward commercial shipping vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. And so a lot of moving parts here and real questions about if the agreement can hold.
Fox's Trey Ingston, Tel Aviv. Some in Congress won't like this. President Trump posted on Truth Social a few hours ago he's canceled today's Senate hearing for Jay Clayton, his nominee for Director of National Intelligence, keeping in place the acting DNI many lawmakers oppose, claiming Bill Pulte's unqualified. A Trump-backed Republican takes a step toward the Senate in Georgia. Congressman Mike Collins won a Republican runoff, beating Derek Dooley. He'll try to unseat Democratic Senator John Ossoff in November.
I'm going to work hard. I'm going to get the job done. And you know what? I'm going to come home. We don't need more career politicians.
But another Republican the president endorsed in Georgia, Burt Jones, lost a runoff for governor, defeated by Rick Jackson. Trump-backed Republicans in two other states won Senate nominations, Congressman Kevin Hern in Oklahoma, Barry Moore in Alabama. America's listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Xtra, only on Xtra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los on Xtra 106.3. It is hump day, hump day, hump day. Mike, hump day. And a busy day for us, too, here on Xtra 106.3. A day full of discussion and surprises. They came on pretty strong last night, and how everything shaped up for this runoff election. Good morning to you, front office Los.
Good morning, Tug. We're now talking about several nights in a row as we were joking around before the show started of staying up late, watching polls, watching results, watching
baseball,
College World Series. Yeah.
Braves got rained out, so that took that out of the equation.
That'll make it for another long day today.
No kidding.
As around here, especially because us being the company that is the Braves radio flagship, with suddenly having a 2 o'clock game that's going to basically almost equate to like a regular game. You're going to get started in the top of the third inning, and then another game tonight.
Yeah.
So it should be a nice long day around here.
No doubt.
But a fun day.
Totally fun day. Georgia. Speaking of that, Georgia plays Oklahoma again tonight, and I think that's at 7 or 8, somewhere around there this evening. But
it's 7 o'clock start, by the way.
There we go. Yeah. It taking the Braves out of the equation was good. So I had my phone with all the election stuff, right, and following on social media, and kind of going to sites and just seeing what was happening. And then had the Georgia game on the regular TV. That's kind of the way it was for me. My wife went and played Mahjong, so I was just wide open. It was just me and my devices. Yeah, it was me and my devices. Had it not been a Tuesday night, I'd probably poured me a beverage.
I'm not saying you kick her out the door, but when she's like, hey, I'm off to play Mahjong, you're like, have a good Mahjong time.
Absolutely. Y'all go have fun, man. I'm going to, especially with it being last night, because I wasn't going to pay her any mind anyway.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And maybe they play on Tuesday night, so it's not like it was planned that way. But I think she realizes, on nights like that, his focus is just somewhere else, and it has to be, and just because of work. But it was, dude. The betting markets had it all wrong. We thought it would be much closer than it was, and for good reason. It really did seem like things shifting and changing by the second. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. Since we're talking about it, let's get to the first thing to know.
Way out west, there's a show, the Morning Xtra, the Morning Xtra. Tug so bold, deep in the story, breaking news that's bold.
So last night it started out, and Rick Jackson, here at least in the metro counties, had a 20-point lead, and I was just like, goodness gracious! Well, I did not expect that. I didn't see that coming. And then as other rural counties started to report, you saw the shifting of the numbers. But I was relatively surprised in the way that everything came down. I think the betting markets were surprised. Somebody probably made them a good grip of money, wouldn't you say, Los?
Yeah, I would definitely imagine so, considering that when. And again, this is all coming from the camps when we were looking at something that was supposed to be really, really tight. And it really came down to, and we'll start with the governor. As we're getting all the reporting and you see that Rick Jackson has opened up about a 7-point lead, and you start looking like, okay, how does that kind of get whittled down by Burt Jones? And 30 minutes later, well, it's not being whittled down.
It's actually
going 30 minutes later, it's going the other direction.
That's right.
Very, very surprising to see how that played out. And then as we got to, I think it was probably maybe about 11:15 or so, when you started to have everything being called.
Yep.
And you started to see the rundown of, okay, here are the winners, and here are the people that are moving on. You now have what's going to look like, or at least the breakdown of who's going to be running as we get into November, and now we have definitive races against as far as Republicans and Democrats.
I saw the Eric Trump tweet that immediately made me go, what are they seeing? Not that they were changing their mind, not that they were changing direction, because they didn't do any of that stuff. They made it clear that they weren't. But I think they had polling, or they recognized what was happening maybe before everybody else did and said, hey, let's get ahead of this. I called it hedging their bets yesterday, and I still believe that was the case, because Rick has a great relationship with the Trump administration. He told us while he was here.
He was at Mar-a-Lago when they started to drop bombs on Iran.
He said, I'm going to be Trump's favorite governor if I'm elected. So the relationship was already there. And then I was told that on Saturday he was in Virginia at a Trump fundraiser. So that was something that didn't get discussed a whole lot. There just wasn't really a place to talk about it. But it just in the back of my head, I knew that had happened. I was like, okay. And it should have led me to believe that maybe it wasn't as close, but I didn't pick it up. I saw all the signs. I saw the dot on the curveball, but I couldn't hit it.
Well, I think, and we got a chance to talk to Burt Jones yesterday, and he had pointed out about, my people turn out on election day,
which is true.
And to look at the numbers, because the initial reports that we had was that Rick Jackson was leading in early voting. And so it was going to take a lot of people to turn up to the polls. And Burt Jones got a lot of people in order to make up the difference in the two. But ultimately, when you lose, 52-47, it wasn't enough to make up the difference of what Rick Jackson was able to bank. And so I think a lot of this, as we dig into it, I'm going to look into like county by county and see how that really played out as we get a little bigger breakdown of the data.
Everything I've read so far is the metro counties went strong for Rick Jackson.
Which, by the way, and I don't want to go crazy conspiratorial or anything else like that. You then had people that were in the Burt Jones camp that were talking about, well, the Democrats went ahead and voted for him. Like, settle down.
Yeah.
I was I'm in Forsyth County.
Yeah, come on.
There were a lot of Forsyth County voters that were voting for Rick Jackson, and that's one of the most red areas of the entirety of the state. And so I think that basically what a lot of this came down to is that he spent a lot of money, he got the message out there, and he overwhelmed the competition.
Especially with spending, man. You've heard his message here on Extra a lot. He spent a very large amount of money with this company to get that message out, knowing that you would hear it. I'm curious. The biggest question I have is, were there people, I know the answer is yes, but how many? Were there people that went out and voted in the primary originally for Burt Jones that switched their vote? I know that happened a lot. I wonder what percentage of that happened.
And by the way, we had talked about the number of being 700,000 that were going to take part in this, which was going to be down from 900,000, which is what I kept saying about the betting markets yesterday. I said, Cauchy continues to show that Burt Jones has a lead in the betting market, but that the models are based on 900,000 voters, and that the camps were both believing it's going to be 700,000. As it turns out, 708,000 people took part in the vote. Yeah. I was like, they were spot on with that. And we had people in this building that were like, are you serious? Is it going to be? I was like, yeah, 700,000.
Yeah. And you had a good analogy when you called it a 7-inning ball game versus a 9.
It was no longer going to be what it was before.
That's right. And so that there's so many questions. And look, whatever you think, I'd love to know at 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Greg Dolezal, I think he won because of his effectiveness with media. The fact that he knew how to reach people where they were. He used AI to create ads almost instantaneously. He would send them to us even before he posted them. And we were able to see him use that so effectively. The day after the primary, he came into this radio station knowing that it was going to be a runoff, and he was the first person here that wanted to speak to you, knowing that the runoff was coming. Did nobody else do that? That's why I believe that Greg Dolezal won yesterday.
Yeah, effective use of media. Because
John Kennedy was a great candidate, seemingly a really nice guy. He only came in with us that one time, but he spent about half hour, and he was great. I don't feel like he would have been a bad lieutenant governor.
Well, and by the way, that coming from Greg Dolezal as well.
Yeah, Greg said it as well.
Very complimentary of him.
That's exactly right. But Greg's ability to use media effectively is what made him the candidate for lieutenant governor for the Republicans.
And by the way, this really got rolling as far as the use of media when we had the ruling come down from the Supreme Court that got rid of gerrymandering districts by race, which within 10 minutes, like I'm getting ready to text you like, wow, this is pretty big. And Dolezal's video talking about what should happen in the state of Georgia. And when we got a chance to talk with him, this was at our event that we had in Alpharetta. And he pointed out, again, we played portions of this stuff, but he pointed out he wasn't waiting for the consultants. He didn't have them.
He fired them.
Yeah, he fired them.
Because he told us that.
Everything they kept telling him, like, well, you better hold off. You better not say that. He's like, no, instinctually, this is what I'm going to do. So he was out in front of it. And so he really came across as, if I get the feeling from just political instincts that this is the way things are going, I'm going to run with it. And I think that ends up being the difference, as you said, with his media usage that got out in front of the people.
Yeah, it was smart. And good for him. And I look forward to seeing how he runs the campaign now against a Democrat. Because,
and by the way, won comfortably too.
Yeah, that's right.
When you go through it, about 9 points.
Yeah, I'm wondering how he lowers the boom on a Democrat. Because let's go back to what we were just talking about with him being at least friends with John Kennedy. It wasn't like knife in the neck. It wasn't
no, not
pound on the ground. I expect that he will do that against a Democrat.
I would fully imagine, considering that when you're talking about lieutenant governor, that is supposed to be historically the stepping stone to governor in this state. And so it's kind of like you do the job, you bide your time, you handle what you're supposed to do, under the Golden Dome, and then it's, all right, I'm the next guy. That's how important that role has been. Let's face it, when it comes to Rick Jackson, he kind of upset the apple cart in terms of that.
Yep.
Normally in Georgia politics, Birch Jones is the next guy in line because of being lieutenant governor.
Absolutely. It's just understood.
But when you spend what he spent.
Yeah, when you spend $200 million or whatever it is. Patrick's on the phone, 404-741-1230. Patrick, you're talking about Kemp's endorsement. Explain to me what you mean there.
Yeah, I wonder if you guys think it made much of a difference, Governor Kemp's endorsement coming so late. And the second point, if I put my tinfoil hat on real quick and do think that some of the Democrats did vote, do you think that was their last weapon to use, was that they see their candidate so flawed, maybe that their only choice was to find someone that was more beatable?
Yeah, no, I don't believe that at all. I don't think that at all.
Here's the deal, and Patrick, thank you for the call. If that's the case, the Democrats picked up somebody, and money drives politics.
That's right.
They picked up the shot to go with the billionaire?
Yeah, right. With the dude that's going to spend $200 million on beating Keisha Lance Bottoms?
He spent a crazy amount in this portion. And now, and as he ended up talking to us off the air, he's already been in contact with the RNC about what they're going to do because, let's face it, when you can get Ted Cruz to jump on these airwaves,
that's right,
and to come into the city of, in this case, Alpharetta, and to stump for you, there is a big backing there. I mean, this wasn't like you just found some regular congressman, hey, I found a congressman out of Tennessee to talk about my relationship with him, and this is what we did.
Yeah.
You got Ted Cruz.
Yeah. And you called him an icon. It's your word.
He's an icon of the conservative movement.
Yeah. So, I don't believe that at all about the Democrat thing. Now, the Kemp thing's interesting because I do think they waited late to get that endorsement in. And I think I said it yesterday. I think they did that strategically, knowing that most Republican voters vote day of. So it's like the October surprise a little bit.
Okay, so what we had heard from at least the Rick Jackson camp and some of the information they were putting out there is that he had a 6-4 lead in terms of for every 10 votes that was coming in early voting, he was well ahead. And that's why Burt Jones was pushing so hard for, hey, my group shows up on Tuesday. And clearly they did. It didn't seem, based on what had been already banked, to make enough of a difference. And so I believe, now looking at this, the after action report, I believe that Brian Kemp got involved in part because, remember, early voting was essentially already done.
Yeah,
that came down over the way. Early voting was finished.
And it's still, less than 40,000 votes separated them. I mean, obviously 40,000, a sizable number, but wonder how much of that came in early voting.
And considering that, remember, 900,000 voted last time around, and as the camps had told us, it's 708,000. They were looking at 700,000 votes that'll decide this entire thing.
Yeah. Quickly, Derek Dooley, I like Coach. I thought he was
he's a good dude.
He's a good dude. He came in here a couple times. He spent time with us. I thought Mike Collins, I never really wavered on that one, at least in my head.
It seemed pretty clear.
What was going to happen there.
Yeah, considering that when it was Buddy Carter and Mike Collins, who had both joined this radio program over the last year and a half, and let's face it, we both kind of looked at it as, okay, they're looking for something more. They're looking to probably, down the road, take on John Ossoff. And that's just how we looked at it. It's like, it's going to be Mike Collins and Buddy Carter. They're going to fight this thing out. When Derek Dooley entered the fray, he had a long way to make up because he was significantly behind. And to get to the point where he's in a runoff, congratulations that you were able to do that. But I think that it was a little bit of a road just too long to hoe.
Yeah.
Is what I think came down to, considering that the jump that Mike Collins had at the time.
And just the experience in politics, too. You know what I mean? Being able to message correctly, being able to get your message in front of the right people, taking things that Coach Dooley had said and using them against him. Because he's not a polished politician, so there are things that he's going to say that are easily picked apart and easily put out there. And I just think a campaign that has that experience, like Mike Collins does, I think that's, I don't want to say easy pickings, but kind of.
Well, it's the temperature of the country, and we have talked about this extensively, that when you have a misstep on the immigration front, you've given your opponent a big opportunity, and that's what was going to be driven home. And there is not a lot of tolerance on the Republican side for illegal immigration. This is not 30 years ago, 20 years ago, where the Chamber of Commerce Republicans were talking about, well, let's just bring them in. It's going to lower the pricing on everything. It's like, no, that is not the temperature of this country.
Those days are over and behind us for sure. Morning Extra on Extra 1063 when we come back. Freedom of speech is so important, and there's plenty of places that would like to get rid of it, including the Democrats here in America. Two people you should be thankful for: your ability to speak freely. Next on Extra.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hey, it's Tug. I've talked about these guys so much, so often, and I want to talk about them again because I think they do good work, and I think it's important that if you're looking for a company that you can trust, the company I trust is Central Heating and Air Conditioning. And there's so many reasons, because I've become friends with the owner, Chuck, over the years. I was a customer before I even knew who Chuck was. And then after becoming a voice on their behalf, we've become actual friends, and I see how he operates. I see the things he does to benefit not only the community, but you as a customer. It's not a bottom line business with him. A lot of competition out there, but what he does is he cares about people that use his business. When you call up, you'll speak to someone on the phone. You don't get the AI run around. You don't get the automation run around. Click 1 for this and 2 for that, and 3 to start over. None of that. You actually speak with a very experienced and a good employee of Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Don't believe me? Give them a call. 770-GET-HEAT. You will speak with someone. I promise you. CentralHeat.com is their website. Right now they're doing Christmas in July, and that benefits Skyland Trail if you sign up for a maintenance agreement where they come out to your house and just do maintenance on your HVAC, one of your most expensive systems in your home. They do the maintenance twice a year to make sure little problems don't become big problems, or if there is a problem at all, they fix it right away. So I want you to do that for you and your family, but then $10 from each one going to Skyland Trail Working to actually help people facing mental health challenges get real and lasting support. That's who they are at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Carrier products, carrier warranty, carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, delivering carrier comfort for the world we share.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org. Helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Hey, this is Los with Terry from Alpharetta, who just purchased a new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent, honest way to buy your next vehicle. Terry, tell us about your experience.
I have a son serving in the military. He's active duty with limited time to look for a car. My son was looking for a used Hyundai Veloster, and I had heard about the Honest Car Guy on the radio, decided that might be a route to go, and we made a phone call over the weekend. He screen shared the information with us. We looked over the vehicle, and he took the reins from there, and they were able to walk us through the process of buying the car. We're very clear and transparent, and next thing we knew, we had a car in the driveway.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME1. Or visit honestcarguy.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Wednesday, June 17th, and here are your headlines. Georgia Republicans have settled several major statewide runoff races. Billionaire healthcare executive Rick Jackson won the GOP nomination for governor, beating current Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones despite Jones having President Trump's endorsement. In the Senate race, Congressman Mike Collins won the Republican nomination and will face Democratic Senator John Ossoff in November. Republicans also nominated Greg Dolezal for lieutenant governor and Tim Fleming as their representative for Secretary of State. Georgia is expanding its literacy efforts as state officials reported that 62% of third graders are not reading proficiently. A new statewide initiative places literacy coaches in every public elementary school and establishes a unified approach to reading instruction. Education leaders say the changes are designed to improve long-term reading outcomes. The results will take time. And finally, the Cobb County School District has filed a lawsuit against the Cobb County Board of Commissioners over millions of dollars in tax collection fees. School leaders say the county plans to increase the fee more than $13 million this year, from this year to $20 million next year. Money, they argue, could otherwise support teachers, classroom instruction, and other student programs. Coming up an hour from now, the Talkmaster Neil Bortz will join the show, and at 8:25, Dr. RichMcCormick will join Tug and Los to talk about UFC Freedom 250. Today's weather will be partly cloudy with a high of 86 and a low of 75. The Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. There are people that you need to thank for your free speech.
It all starts very slowly. And then when the authoritarians get a taste for it, well, then it really takes off.
They come back for more.
we saw this in 2020, 2021 when it came to X and what was going on, and it facilitated eventually the purchase of it by Elon Musk. But I wanted to start by bringing up what came out of the UK as of 24 hours ago, where Keir Starmer, in the interest of taking care of the kids, we're taking care of the kids. We're going to make sure that when it comes to social media use, no one under the age of 16 can do it because the parents have been asking for it. And look what it does to these children, and it's awful.
Why wouldn't the parents just say no?
Well, that would seem like just personal responsibility, wouldn't it?
I mean, socialists can't have that.
Now, nothing is going to happen to the kids if they happen to violate the rules in order to get access to YouTube, X, handful of others as well. But the overarching start of this is facial recognition software.
Oh, wow.
Facial recognition software or credit card or ID in order to make sure that you are who you say you are. You're of age in order to use the stuff. By the way, Blue Sky doesn't show up on any of this.
Yeah, that's the one that escapes it. You don't have to be...
doesn't seem to be part of that one.
That's right.
But yes, every other social media. And what this links back to is what's gone on in the UK. Even a year ago, we had this story. UK free speech crackdown sees up to 30 people a day arrested for petty offenses such as retweets and cartoons. This isn't just about free speech there. It's about free thought. And the goal ends up being thought suppression. If we make it illegal, if we make it to where you don't have access to this, how much can we control what you think?
Well, that and how do we connect you? That way we know exactly who you are, where you are, what you're into, what you buy. We have access to every piece of information because we've got your credit card, we've got your ID, you've got all the... There's so many layers to this.
Because there's so many games. If you can keep people from speaking, and people are like, well, if you keep them from speaking out, well, then you control them. No, because they can still have those thoughts. The next step is, how do you keep them from thinking this stuff? And that's what the UK is really messing with as of now. And they're now starting to see if they can get it earlier. What I give credit to ultimately is what has gone on with Donald Trump and with Elon Musk. And a lot of this is because of Elon buying X and the Trump victory. We talk about the stuff that you can in Trump's America. That was our joke for the better part of like the first year or so. Hey, that girl's hot. Well, you can't say that. In Trump's America, I can.
We're back.
We're back. By the way, did you notice something during UFC Freedom 250 as far as one of the advertisers? There was an official beer of the UFC.
Was it Bud Light?
Ding, ding, ding. Says, what are we doing? We're putting money back into men's stuff.
Right.
It used to be Modelo. They ended up jumping forward and bought the rights to it. So in Trump's America, it's like you can have people have a sporting event on the White House lawn. And it's not a man with breasts, okay? In Trump's America, it's actually 2 championship fighters that decided we're going to settle this thing out here in the octagon. All right, like this is the whole idea of what happens when we get away from all of this nonsense. And so I also wanted to play this. This is Dave Portnoy. Now, he's owner, operator, CEO of Barstool. And he took what came out of UFC Freedom 250, and he took issue with it.
There was one moment I do think Trump has to denounce, and anybody associated with it has to denounce, and that's that crazy fighter guy. I don't even have his name up here, but he won the fight. He took the microphone, and he made a derogatory comment about Michelle Obama. To me, that on the White House lawn, now these are UFC guys, all right? They're crazy. They're idiots. You have Sean Strickland, who's one of the craziest people of all time, to the point you can't even pay attention to what he says snuck in. But when you have that on the White House lawn, on an event you put down, I don't care what you think about the Obamas or anything. That has to be an immediate denounce. Like, wrong, doesn't speak for me. I have no problem with the event. I guess you run that risk because these guys are lunatics.
All right, so there's Portnoy. Now, Barstool has built their entire empire off of free speech, off of saying all the things that you can't say, off of saying all the things you shouldn't say. In fact, I've had a friend of mine, she went on Barstool. She said one of the dumbest things in her entire life, and it got her, ruined her life for like 2 or 3 years. And at no point did Barstool run from it. They were just like, well, sorry that the team you work for has a problem with it, but we didn't.
Nazi's not too far, though.
At some point, because this is Josh Hokett and calling Michelle Obama a man, the dude, as we told you, was doing a heel turn. He was doing a bit. He came out to Real American. The guy, because, of course, these guys are crazy. He's a 28-year-old poli-sci major.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. Was any of the fight... Was Hulk Hogan crazy for wrapping himself in the flag as the Real American, and then when it was time to reinvent, it was Hollywood Hogan?
That's right.
Perhaps the most complete opposite.
When he turned heel, too.
Yeah. That's the game.
Brought that up yesterday. Because remember, he filled in his beard. It was black with just black paint.
So
it was a great bit.
Is there nothing that's more free speech than, and by the way, and free thought, which is the important part, than I'm going to play a character. In fact, maybe one of the greatest that we've ever had is when you look at some of the fighters that we've had in the UFC, and when you can run your mouth, like, that works. That's part of pre-fight.
That's the bit.
That's the bit.
That's the game, yeah.
That's the game. You're playing a character in order to play it, because if you want to control the biggest purses, that's what you have to do. And so I guess I've just found like the last 24, 48 hours since this moment to be very instructionary into who gets this and who doesn't.
And clearly Dave Portnoy doesn't. A guy that
built his empire off offensive language.
Which is the sad part.
I can't even put Barstool on when I've had it in the car, when I used to have satellite, when they would give it to me for free, we'd buy a vehicle. Tried to drive down to Florida with it, with kids in the car, couldn't keep it on.
But this is too far. This is a bridge too far. And that's why I bring up the whole, but calling Trump a Nazi forever, that's not too far. You never spoke out about that. You didn't care about that. That was fine. That's the silliest thing in the history of the world, dude. So ridiculous. And now you even see, and to credit of some of the folks Like, let's see, he was talking to Stephen A. Smith. Let me go back and get his name I just want to make sure I get it right. They were talking about how this UFC was better. Jay Williams told Stephen A. Smith UFC 250 was better than the NBA Finals that he had been to. Like, that's how people reacted to it. That's how, how big the event was. And it was because of people like that, the characters that make. Why do you think WWE is so big? It's nothing but characters.
So his name has lost luster over the years just because he's kind of aged out. But when Conor McGregor was doing what he was doing in the UFC, that name sounds familiar to you. He's considered running for different positions in Ireland, and the establishment finds ways to make sure that Conor McGregor can never run. He's got a pretty sketchy past as a fighter as far as the stuff he's been involved in. Conor McGregor, the reason why he got to the point where he could command the money that he could, where he could fight Floyd Mayweather in a fight, was because his mouth and his skills were at top notch. He was a champ. He was a champion in 2 different weight divisions, which has only happened a handful of times when it comes to men in the UFC. It's very difficult to do. And one of his most famous moments was when he got his second belt and he made the point to apologize.
Let's go!
You want to talk about creating the character. He's talking about I have got this moment here, and I you know what, I've been a problem to deal with, and I've been a problem with other fighters to deal with, and I'd like to take this chance to apologize.
Absolutely no one.
To absolutely nobody.
Genius.
That's how you build the person. So when you are Josh Hoquett and you're sitting back going, all right, like I'm rising, but how do I then drive this thing home?
Absolutely.
For Portnoy not to get that.
Of all people. Stephen A. Smith got it. Jay Williams got it. Dude, then, I even got it.
And then the funny response to all of this has been, well, I mean, maybe they should, Michelle Obama and the Obamas should sue the UFC. You know why they won't? It's called discovery.
Uh-oh. That would be dragging them through.
There's no reason to.
They're dragging themselves through some stuff.
There's no reason to.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
That was a piece of comedy in the same way that when Joe Rogan talked about the most crazy conspiracy theories a couple years ago, he brought that one up as well. It was for the sake of comedy. In this case, it was for the sake of I'm heel turning and I'm telling you this is what's up.
Or Joan Rivers before she died.
She's the one who helped get this ball rolling.
Well, she was asked, do you think we'll ever have a gay president? She's like, we've already had a gay president. What are you talking about? Barack Obama.
Michael and I.
Oh, what?
Yeah, well, that doesn't help when that's happened several times.
You know what I've never done when I was talking about my wife?
Called her Larry.
Beat me to it, yes.
You know, Albert and I, we're going...
Michael and I.
Dude, I've never made that mistake. I've stumbled and stammered and tripped over lots of words. You know what word I've never tripped over? My wife's name.
That particular use of your wife's name and...
Ever.
Making it a masculine version? Well,
ever.
Weird.
Michael and I.
I'm telling you, never.
It's for the sake of comedy. And I'm watching it live and I'm laughing going, well, I know that's going to draw a bunch of people off sides tomorrow.
And it did. But just to the Joan Rivers thing, just quickly, I don't think she was being a comedian there. She is a comedian. I don't think she was trying to be funny there.
No, she was throwing it in your face as in
exactly right.
like y'all don't know, I know.
That's exactly what it was. Y'all are being naive. I've seen it in person.
I just like that this is something that I have brought up with my wife maybe like 7 years ago. And to have it play out in the way that it did on Sunday night. And then, again, to see, here is what free speech looks like. The guy...
Yeah, even the stuff you don't like has to be protected.
When you have somebody who's playing a character, for instance, when Shane Gillis does Donald Trump and he says wild stuff, am I thinking somebody should sue him for making Donald Trump look bad?
Of course not.
Like, no, it's in character.
Right.
Like, that dude, he came out in a bandana to I'm a real American with sunglasses on.
Right.
Okay?
Did you see Shane Gillis said he wasn't a fan of it?
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't. Because
Shane Gillis said he wasn't a fan of what?
The Michelle Obama comment.
He was.
But who cares? I don't care what he thinks.
Listen, he's got to play that game too.
Oh, sure. No, I get it, but I don't care.
But if he was on stage, the stage allows you different parameters for what you're allowed to get away with. No. That is part of the presentation. That is part of the art. You don't ask Shane Gillis on the street. You ask him on the stage.
That's right. Because he's going to...
And he's going to play it differently.
That's right. Absolutely right. 100%.
Because as even a guy that we respect like Dave Chappelle will tell you, if I'm in a room with you, this is how I'm going to treat you. It's like if I'm on stage and I'm making trans jokes, it's because they're jokes. It's like if I'm in a room with a trans person, different. But that's the dude was in his office on the stage after he walked out to I'm a Real American. Sunglasses and a red, white, and blue bandana. And then he fired that off. Understand, that was the game, people. But oftentimes on the left, there's no room for comedy. And no room for understanding.
We don't laugh. Nobody on the left laughs. It just doesn't happen. They're not allowed to laugh because it's not allowed. That means you're belittling someone, you're hurting someone if you were to laugh, and you can't do that. Comedy doesn't exist on the left. To Los' point, which is exactly right. Tug and Los until 10. Here on Extra 106.3, where we do like to laugh a whole bunch. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, you can't be the paper of record if you conveniently miss the biggest stories. Next on the Morning Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, June 17th. The Atlanta Braves game with the San Francisco Giants was suspended last night due to rain, with the Giants leading 3-2. That game will resume this afternoon. That's going to be a 2 o'clock start as the third inning will start getting underway. Then later tonight, game 2 of the series will get started with the first pitch at 7:15. You can hear all of the action all day long today on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. From the College World Series, Georgia still alive after a 2-0 win last night over the Texas Longhorns, eliminating them. Another elimination game tonight as Georgia faces off once again against Oklahoma. That'll be a 7 o'clock start time. In the earlier matchup today, that'll be a 2 o'clock start time. West Virginia matches up against North Carolina. That's still in the double elimination round. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
When it comes to luxury, performance, and cutting-edge technology, few brands do it better than Cadillac.
And there's no better place to experience Cadillac than Jim Ellis Cadillac, where buying a luxury vehicle is just as refined as the vehicle itself.
From the bold Escalade to the sleek XT5, the powerful CT5, and the electrifying new Lyriq, you'll find an impressive selection ready to go.
That means more choices, more availability, and competitive pricing, all with the transparent, no-pressure approach Jim Ellis is known for.
And with the Jim Ellis Expressway, you can start your purchase online. Value your trade, schedule a test drive, even complete paperwork from home.
It's luxury car buying made simple and convenient on your terms. Or shop in person and enjoy a professional, welcoming dealership experience that puts you first.
To get started, visit JimEllisCadillac.com or stop by the Jim Ellis Cadillac dealership on Peachtree Boulevard, just inside the perimeter.
Jim Ellis Cadillac, where you can always expect the best.
You know what you get back when you call the Trusted Toolbox? You get your time back, you get your family back, and you get your house back. No more spending weekends fixing loose doors, drywall cracks, or that list that never ends. With our handyman for a day, one skilled professional shows up, knocks out multiple repairs in one visit. Everything from drywall to ceiling fans changed out, painting, trim work, and so much more. Stop working on your house every weekend. Call the Trusted Toolbox, get your time back, and get it done right the first time. Book your appointment today at thetrustedtoolbox.com.
Don't believe this nonsense you see on TV commercials about how uncomfortable a CPAP mask is. Take it from me. You wear one, especially the nasal pillow I use, for one night, and you will fight anybody that tries to take it away from you. But if they do take it away from you, you can get more at cpapsetc.com, cpapsetc.com. With a store in Alpharetta, same-day shipping. To your health, cpapsetc.com.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6.
I had a visit with my cardiologist this morning, and she says two things. She says you can start working out a little bit again, no push-ups, and no lifting big weights, and you can get in the lake.
Just out of curiosity, Pete, prior to the heart surgery, what were your daily workouts?
Well, I realize I'm going to start coming back in there pretty soon.
I'm looking forward to it.
Every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Goodness gracious. That is the first time I've heard that promo for the Kimmer Show, and Flounder comes out of nowhere. Pete is a man in recovery. Pete is a man you're supposed to handle with care right now. You can give him hard time later, but Flounder says, no, hard times now.
The man had significant heart surgery, and here comes the Flounder with oh, really? What kind of workouts you up to, big guy?
Sucker punch come flying in from somewhere in the back. What were your workouts like prior to your heart surgery? Good heavens,
How did you arrive at the moment of needing heart surgery since your workouts were so extensive?
Freaking just
Good Lord, Flounder.
Brutal. Goodness. I thought we were brutal on the show. Good. I don't think I would ever say that. God. I love it. I think it's awesome. But wow, I did not see it coming.
How did you get to this point that required this with your extensive workouts?
But I love it.
Man.
I love how he just said it very, deadpan. What were your workouts like prior to? Just setting him up for failure.
As he's questioning that man. That wasn't a curious question. That was a, why don't you explain yourself question.
Exactly right. So good. Flounder, nice job, man. Nicely done. I love it. Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3, Tug and Los 10. Thank you for being here. These newspapers that are the paper of record, they're the ones that that everybody's supposed to listen to. They're the most important papers. They lead the stories and everybody falls into line. But what happens, Los, when those papers miss big stories? I mean, gigantic stories. They miss them.
I think what you should do is you should send in a man who also pulls no punches like Flounder.
That's right.
Who also has the deflector shield of being not only one of the sharpest men within the Trump administration, but also he's gay. They can't attack him according to their own rules.
That's right.
Now, me, I don't care. I attack you either way.
That's right. Yeah.
The left goes, ooh, I don't know if we really want to be seen doing that. I don't know if that's going to work out well for us.
I know it's a long tease, but last segment of the show is a piece of audio just like that. When they pretzel themselves, using your analogy that you always say, and it happens in real time and you see the calculations, it will make you laugh.
I still remember, and this has been several years, having some sort of Twitter beef, Twitter argument, and I remember pointing out to the person, wow, you're really going after a minority pretty hard. And they turned into, uh-oh.
What do I do now?
What do I do now? I can't be seen as going after. I'm like, listen, I don't care. I'll make fun of you one way or another. But when you use their rules against them, that's what happens. This is Scott Bessent sitting in front of a New York Times editor discussing the state of the media and the state of the New York Times. And on their own stage, he basically tell him, y'all are full of it.
The question is this like a new is this a new normal?
That Andrew, there's no new normal, and I can tell you that I actually don't read the New York Times anymore. That sometimes I do watch CNBC, but occasionally people send me articles, and there's just this fever swamp, and you're now a pop historian with 1929, and in 20, 30, 40, 50 years. The New York Times is no longer the paper of record. You can't go. I read this article. President Trump is slowing down. President Trump's mental capacity. It is 100% fake. That he only called me twice at 2 a.m. last week instead of 3 times.
You're saying he called you? I believe that he called you at 2 or 3 in the morning.
That whole narrative. You had what was one of the greatest scandals of all time. That the coverage of the Biden administration, Joe Biden's diminished capacity, and the cover-up.
And that's why it's probably fair to raise these questions.
Where was the New York Times? We just had a 3-hour cabinet meeting yesterday, Andrew. For 10 months, the Biden administration did not have a cabinet meeting. How are you going to invoke the 25th Amendment if the cabinet secretaries never see the president, which they didn't. That, I hear from people in the Treasury building that I see President Trump more in a day than my predecessor saw Joe Biden in half a year.
What are you supposed to say to that when he lays it out in this way?
Did you hear Andrew? Because I don't know who that reporter is, but Besant calls him Andrew. Did you hear Andrew? Well, I believe he called you at 2 a.m. I believe that. Yeah, but your paper doesn't. Your paper doesn't reflect what you believe. You're on record going that the president is slowing down. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. They will miss something on purpose to mislead you and then try to back out of it in person because they don't have the courage of their convictions. Los, Andrew, whomever that is, Andrew didn't have if he were the person that he says he is, he would be like, well, I believe that Donald Trump is slowing down. Show me why he's not. You would go at him with something, but he didn't. He backed off of it. He's like, I believe you.
I just don't know the last time that I picked up a newspaper, or most notably the New York Times. So I know what I'm going to get in the same way that if I picked up Teen Beat, okay?
Tiger Bop.
Like, you're going to be trying to sell me Clearasil and tell me about what the newest teen heartthrob is doing. The New York Times and the rest of these papers of record.
Garbage.
First off, they're newspapers. It's a dying industry, all right? Like, for years, it was like, no, what's happening to radio? You keep putting together something y'all have to pay for, and it ain't any good.
There's a reason they stopped printing the newspaper over at the AJC. They don't print it anymore.
Yes, the digital subscription is the only way because they can't sell it.
And I don't believe that the digital subscriptions are doing all that well. Because I go to removepaywall.com all the time. Probably shouldn't have gave out my source.
Turns out you can't beat technology.
Yeah,
it's weird how that works out.
You use technology to win.
But you would feel rather ridiculous if you were paying for what you're being given. And the other part about it, what it really comes right down to, there's not good enough content to justify it when there's plenty of free content that's doing better.
Absolutely. And if there is a story that is behind some paywall you can't get to.
Like, how long are we going to be before it turns into, why do you, like, there's not going to be a newspaper forum to sit in front of?
Well, I mean, they're kind of in that. I mean,
what, the New York Times, and that's about it?
I didn't.
Right?
Yeah,
Maybe the Washington Post?
Maybe. And I didn't watch any of those last night when I was watching election coverage. I was on Twitter. Yeah. I was on X because I had the information immediately and from a bunch of different sources that I don't agree with and sources that I do, so I could see both sides of the argument and try to make an educated opinion about it.
And then there's the strange scenario of you will have people that cover, like, let's say, politics for a newspaper, yet they don't want to put too much out on X because that's actually the paper of record.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly right.
They're like, here, read my article. Why?
Yeah.
When I can see exactly what you said from somebody else for free.
Yeah, it's just, it's so easy. And I love the fact that Scott Besant, because he's my favorite person in the administration, is just not afraid to call them out in the kindest way possible. You know, he's what'd you call him, a silent assassin? He's like a ninja, man.
He is flat out telling them, you missed one of the biggest stories in political history. A man who was asleep at the wheel, who was actually the president, and I'm using finger quotes there, and you're actually trying to write articles on how a guy that's holding as many cabinet meetings, who's up until all hours of the night doing what he's doing, is somehow slowing down.
And you want me to believe that?
And that's you didn't say the last guy was asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, right. You missed that. You conveniently missed that. Yeah, conveniently missed that.
He was falling down all over the country.
And you want me to believe that you've got a bead on this president, though? You missed the whole last one, but this one, man, you've sharpened your skills. Is that what happened?
Listen, if you want to make the argument that an 80-year-old president is slowing down, it's like, I'm willing to listen.
Well, yeah.
But you missed the last one that was dead at the wheel.
I tell you, though.
He was a cadaver. I mean, we're talking what happened as soon as we got to the auto pen. Stage 4 cancer, watch out.
That's right, absolutely. So how do we redirect? How do we redirect?
That wasn't new.
Yeah, that's right. And your point about Trump slowing down at 80, maybe. I got to tell you, man.
Maybe.
I don't know that I believe that truly. Maybe somewhere, but I don't see it. And that's and show it to me. At Tug Cowarts, where you can find me. Show me the videos. Send me the videos, because I got plenty of videos of Joe Biden falling down, falling up steps, being led around by the Easter Bunny. There's all kinds of videos out there to prove exactly what I believe and what the New York Times didn't report.
Because I wasn't asleep at the wheel. I use this microphone to tell you, when they changed his shoes and had staffers walking around him so that you wouldn't see the dementia shuffle.
Like a little orb.
Yeah.
An orb of people.
They were worried about him falling down in public.
Yeah.
And all you had to do was cover it. And then
just mention it. How about just mention it?
At least if you did, then you probably could say, hey, and by the way, this president is slowing. Now, it's an argument. Hey, Donald Trump's slowing down. He's 80 years old. It's an argument. But when you completely ignored what was in your face for 4 years, it started on a bicycle with that man. Do you realize how comedic it was? Like Saturday Night Live would have had back in the day
a
field day with how much that dude was falling down. He just kept falling down. He was a symbol of America for that time.
And
weak, incapacitated, asleep at the wheel.
It's worse than they missed it. It's they chose not to report. They chose to leave it out. That's the part that I have the biggest problem with. Look, I've missed stories. If it were that, and it's not, if it were you missed a story, okay. But this is a guy you report on every day. You don't miss that. You choose not to report on it, trying to shape an opinion of people that put their trust in you. Or at least they used to.
And so you sent Scott Bessent
Hi.
to do what he does as he practices his own version of verbal karate. Like, oh, really?
So
That's
great.
what you think, huh?
So great, man.
Well, let me tell you what I think on this matter.
I love Scott Bessent. He's my favorite person in the entire administration. And it's not even close, particularly. I think he's great. Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3, 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. A conservative icon, Ted Cruz, is up next on Extra 106.3. Do not miss it. We are honored that he comes on the show. Tug and Los until 10.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is always streaming live across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app. Get the live stream and your favorite Extra podcast anywhere you go. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now for Apple or Android.
It's June 17th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is Tessellation Day. Even if you don't know what it means, you have most likely seen it many times. Tessellation is an arrangement of shapes closely fitted together, especially of polygons, in a repeated pattern without gaps or overlapping. The earliest known example being used from the Sumerians in about 4000 BC, who made snazzy wall designs using repeated patterns made from clay tiles. Also on this day in 1994, O.J. Simpson leads Los Angeles police on a low-speed chase along a freeway. Police suspected the former football star, actor, and sports commentator of killing his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ronald Goldman. Born on this day in 1980, tennis legend Venus Williams, who along with her sister Serena are credited with ushering in a new era of power and athleticism on the Women's Pro Tour, a winner of 6 Grand Slam titles, including 5 Wimbledon championships. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Neil Bortz is live every day on Extra 106.3.
I read a headline in the digital Atlanta Journal-Constitution talking about MARTA and the World Cup crowds coming to Atlanta. This MARTA official was saying they have to manage the public perception of danger on MARTA. Have you ever heard that perception becomes reality? The World Cup ought to be interesting. Too bad we don't have Bill Campbell around to really screw it up.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app. The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. Extra 106.3.
President Trump isn't quite done working in France. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. He has meetings with the leaders of India and Egypt. He's wrapped that up before leaving the G7 summit. There's a lot of focus on the U.S.-Iran deal.
It's a very strong deal. Nobody knows what it is, but it's very strong. And most people seem to be very happy.
Now, the president just again said in the agreement that'll be signed Friday, it'll prevent Iran from building nuclear weapons, setting up more negotiations on that, and reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
And the strait is going to be opening. It's already partially opened. It's going to be opening up soon in full over the next day or two.
And the president insisted stories about a $300 billion investment fund for Iran are false.
But it's a story. We are not investing 10 cents.
A potential snag in the deal, Iran insisting Israel pull forces from Lebanon and stop attacking Hezbollah militants there, but Israel launched more attacks yesterday. A few hours ago, President Trump posted something on Truth Social that some in Congress will not like, canceling today's hearing for Jake Clayton, his nominee for Director of National Intelligence. Senators had been pushing a quick confirmation, but in the post, the president wrote he needs his nominee for U.S. Attorney, replacing Clayton, confirmed first.
The president initially picked his Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte as DNI. Democrats reacted by refusing to extend FISA Section 702, which allows our intelligence agencies to spy on foreign targets without a warrant.
That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Now, Pulte remains acting DNI, and the president says he will not agree to extend that FISA provision unless Republicans in Congress attach the Save America Act to it. New rules in that for voting, including proof of citizenship and ID requirements, and outlawing most mail-in balloting. A small plane crashed late last night on a highway in Laredo, Texas.
One vehicle that was traveling southbound on Loop 20 was struck.
That's Laredo Police Officer Joe Baez. One of the 6 people on board was killed. Others hospitalized. Bystanders helped emergency crews get passengers out of the fiery wreckage. America's listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
The news and talk I can trust. Extra 106.3.
Tug Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good to be with you.
Yes, sir. It was a pleasure to get to see you speak in Alpharetta. What was the message that you wanted to send to potential voters?
Look, what I find works is just talk from the heart. Tell people what you think and tell real stories. Like be real with people. It is a valuable thing. I think people can tell when someone is full of BS. People can tell when someone is speaking from the heart. And so I just try to get up. What I said yesterday is I was telling folks, look, here's why I've endorsed Rick Jackson. And my philosophy is that I support the most conservative candidate who can win. And I look at both of those. I want to see someone's record as a conservative, and I want to see a path to victory. And I see both of those in Rick. I think Rick, his life story is extraordinary. You talk about someone who grew up in the projects in Atlanta, incredibly troubled family life, grew up in foster care, but not just foster care, 5 different foster families as a little kid. And he came from very difficult circumstances to build a business that is incredibly successful. It's created thousands of jobs in Georgia, one of the biggest job creators in Georgia. And he's someone who has also given back enormously. He's given millions of dollars to support kids in Georgia, to support foster care, to make a difference in kids' lives. And look, Georgia is a battleground right now. I look at Georgia. I remember, a few years ago, Georgia was bright red. We didn't worry about Georgia in the November election. That's not today. Georgia's purple today. The Democrats are counting on Georgia. They want to win the governorship, and I think Rick is by far the strongest candidate to win. And so what I did yesterday is I just shared that from the heart. I said, listen, this guy is impressive. He's a strong candidate. He's a candidate that will win. And I also made a point. Look, obviously, I serve in the Senate. I care a lot about the Senate, and John Ossoff right now is probably the senator who is most out of step with the voters of his state. Ossoff votes very, very liberal. Georgia is not very, very liberal. But the point I tried to make to folks yesterday is I said, listen, if you want to win that Senate seat, the best way to do it is have a really strong candidate for governor that runs an incredible campaign and turns a bunch of common sense Georgians out to vote. And if we do that, we'll win the governorship, but that's also how you win the Senate seat, too.
Senator Ted Cruz is our guest on the Morning Xtra. Sir, I don't hesitate to call you. I believe you're iconic within the conservative movement. And we've actually had the opportunity to spend a couple of hours over the last couple of months with Rick Jackson in studio. And what I would say is, along with you endorsing him, I've talked to a lot of his employees who have great things to say about him. Yeah. I think when you take that in total, it makes it a lot easier for people to pull that lever for Rick Jackson.
I think that's exactly right. At the event that Rick and I did it was interesting. A bunch of folks came up. We did the photo line, took pictures with every person there. And I'd say there were probably a dozen people who came up who said to him, Rick, I've worked for you. And he's got thousands and thousands of employees, so he doesn't know all of his employees. But they came up and said, I've worked for you 20 years. I've worked for you 30 years. And they were they were proud to be there. That says a lot. You look at the man's heart. I mean, he is committed. He's been incredibly successful in business. And I made the point also, listen, politics it's an ugly, nasty game. They attack you. They attack your family. People, you almost have to be nuts to do this. And for Rick to do this, he could be out and playing golf every day and, just relaxing and having fun. And he's not doing that because he cares. He's got a heart for Georgia. He's got a heart for the country. But he's also committed with all of his success in business. He's committed that he is giving away the money that he's made, and he's making a real difference. He supports a Christian orphanage in China that is the only orphanage that is allowed to share the gospel. I mean, he has supported Christian ministries all over the world. That's a really profound legacy. You can see who someone is, not just by their words, by their actions. And I think his actions demonstrate, as governor, he is committed that he would come in and freeze property taxes in the state of Georgia, and that he will cut the income tax in Georgia in half. And he said, listen, if he doesn't succeed in those two, he will not run for re-election. And I believe him. I don't. Look, all of us, when candidates run for office, there's a problem that they promise one thing on the campaign trail, they do something else in office. And so as a voter, you don't entirely know. But look, based on his history, his life history and journey, I believe him when he says he's going in to do that. And the beauty of someone running where they're not dependent on a bunch of lobbyists, dependent on a bunch of donors, is that he's got the independence. I have every confidence he will accomplish exactly that. And he's also committed. One thing he said, he wants to make Georgia the worst state in the country to be criminal. If you're a criminal, if you're a violent criminal, if you're a murderer, a rapist, a child molester, he didn't say this, but I'll say this, get the hell out of Georgia. And I got to say, I respect that. I didn't say this yesterday, but I've said it before. Texas and Georgia, we've got a lot in common. We pretty much agree on everything except football, and that's fair. And by the way, I did have several disagreements with folks about the Dogs versus the Longhorns. That's all right.
Sure. Ted,
I appreciate the sentiment, even if I was not persuaded on that particular.
Listen, we have this problem in my house. I'm a native Texan, went to Longhorn games growing up, and I married a Georgia grad. So I have the same problem as well.
Anyone that cares enough about their team to be cheering them on, I understand them, even if I'm not necessarily persuaded about their particular team.
I want to bring up something. Senator Cruz is our guest this morning on the Morning Xtra. Shortly after y'all were done in Alpharetta, there was a tweet posted by Donald Trump Jr., and it said, regardless of what happens in Georgia's race, we should be celebrating the Patriots, building up America first. He talked about China threatening the amoxicillin supply and Rick saving that manufacturing facility. He talked about oil refining shortages and banks that wouldn't finance a new one. A woke bank wouldn't finance. Rick stepped in. He had lots of compliments about Rick Jackson. Why do you suppose that he posted that? Because it got a lot of attention.
Yeah, look, that's a big deal, and I'll confess, as we were getting ready to head out on stage, we knew that Don Jr. Was going to put something out, and we actually had discussed if the timing if it had been approved a half hour early. I was going to get the opportunity to actually announce it on stage, which would have been fun. We knew it was coming, and the campaign said, "Hey, are you willing to announce it?" I said, "Sure, I'd be happy to." And it ended up being approved right after the event was done, so I didn't get to announce it, but we knew it was coming. Look, that's a big deal, and I'll say, Rick's opponent, Burt Jones, I don't know him. From everything I know, he's a good man. I've got nothing negative to say about him. Obviously, the president endorsed him, but he endorsed him before Rick was in the race, and that speaks a lot of volumes. And the president, look, I talk to the president every week, sometimes every day. I was with the president Sunday at his birthday at the White House for the UFC fight, which, by the way, guys, was surreal and unbelievable. But look, the president made the endorsement before Rick Jackson was in the race, and the president likes and respects Rick. And I think, I don't know this, but I think Don Jr. saying this was a way to express that. And that's also why I was down in Georgia. Look, the president and I agree on virtually every endorsement. It is unusual where he and I part ways. And I think some of the difference is that I had the opportunity to make the decision late in the race. And I typically get involved in a political campaign late. I try to do it at a time where I hope my support can make a difference and help the strongest candidate, the strongest conservative who could win, go over the finish line. And so my personal interpretation of Don Jr.'s statement is that was expressing, hey, look, this is a really good guy. What the tweet ends with that Don Jr. put out. He said, "This has been a hard-fought race with a lot of mudslinging, but I know Rick Jackson to be a good man, and that counts for a lot." And listen, Don Jr. is a friend of mine as well. I appreciate his saying that because it obviously is his own view, but it communicates a lot more than that.
Senator Ted Cruz is our guest right here on the Morning Xtra. If Rick Jackson's able to take care of business, I believe that the left, and most notably Keisha Lance Bottoms, we've seen the game plan here. It's a vilification of success and wealth. And I believe if that's the way you plan on attacking Rick Jackson in this state, I think he's going to be the next governor of Georgia, assuming he wins today.
Look, I think that's exactly right. And I'll say this is an interesting week for that. As you guys know, I do a podcast every week. It's called Verdict with Ted Cruz. We do it 3 days a week. We've got millions of listeners all over the country that listen. Monday's podcast was entirely on Elon Musk and the SpaceX IPO, where Elon is now the first trillionaire in world history. And I know Elon really well. I think he's the Thomas Edison of today. He's the Henry Ford of today. He's an incredible entrepreneur. But a lot of what I talked about in the podcast is how the left is losing their minds. I mean, they are certifiably unhinged about Elon's success. And I played all sorts of excerpts and different quotes. Bernie Sanders saying this shall not stand and committing. They hate the success Elon has had. And I made the point, look, this is the basic difference between people who believe in free enterprise and socialists and Marxists. They are filled with envy. They hate people who are successful, and they want to destroy them. And that there's the contrast between those two is powerful. Now, look, I think that's equally true in the Georgia gubernatorial race. Rick Jackson, nobody gave him anything. This is a kid from foster care. This is a kid from the projects who had every disadvantage you could imagine and worked hard and built incredibly successful businesses. And the point I made about Elon on the podcast, you know how he made a ton of money? Well, for one thing, he built Tesla and he sold cars people like. It's not like he forces anyone to buy their cars. Like you look at a Tesla, they're beautiful. The inside, the designing is sleek and beautiful. They do 0 to 60 in like 2.9 seconds, which is crazy. And a whole bunch of people like it. That's how you build a company: is you create a product that people like, you create a service that people like, and they make the decision, gosh, I'd really like one of those. Likewise, why did he become a trillionaire last week? Because millions of people all across the country said, you know what, I want to own some stock in SpaceX. And they made a choice. And by the way, he became a trillionaire by making a ton of other people rich, 4,400 new millionaires because of the SpaceX IPO. I think the same thing is true about Rick. And the left cannot stand, their message. If you're struggling, if you're low income, here's the left's message. Your life will never change. You're stuck. And so you should be dependent on government. We're going to send you a check every month, and you be dependent on us. And here's the basic exchange. We'll give you some money every month. Not much, just enough to eke by. But you got to vote for Democrats for the rest of your life. Keep us in power, and we will keep you in poverty and dependence. And Rick's message is exactly the opposite, which is no matter how hard your circumstances, in America, you can succeed. Your hopes matter. Your dreams matter. You can build anything you set your mind to. That is a powerful message. That's really the heart of who we are as Americans. And you guys are exactly right. The left cannot stand that.
And to your point, as we wrap up with Senator Cruz, there's the example of the welder that made $28 an hour that is now a millionaire because of Elon Musk.
That is exactly right. And I saw that, as I said, playing out at the rally for Rick, as employee after employee. And we're not talking like, fancy senior executives. We're talking, secretaries. There was one woman who's a registered nurse who came up and hugged Rick. And she didn't know him, but she thanked him for everything he's doing. And look, you see how people react to someone, and that conveys a lot. Let me say to the people of Georgia, turnout matters. If you want, number one, a strong conservative that will cut taxes dramatically, that will freeze property taxes, that will cut your income taxes in half, come out and vote for Rick Jackson. And equally important, if you want to win, you don't want to wake up and find Georgia as a blue state. If you don't want to see a Gavin Newsom running Georgia, if you don't want to see a Zohran Mamdani running Georgia, get out and vote, because Rick is the candidate who will win in November, and winning matters. And by the way, when you're voting for Rick, I also think you're taking a real step to say, if you don't want to see Chuck Schumer leading the Senate, if you don't want to see the Senate just attacking President Trump day after day after day, if you don't want to see constant impeachment trials and just obstruction day after day after day, vote for Rick Jackson for governor, because he's going to run a campaign that is going to invest millions of dollars, invest time and energy, and have an inspirational message that is how you win both the governorship and the Senate seat, how you prevent Chuck Schumer from leading the Senate. And so I would just encourage everyone to come out and vote for Rick Jackson for governor.
Ted Cruz, our guest on the Morning Extra, we appreciate your time this morning. It means a lot that you take enough interest in Georgia and what's happening here, and I know our listeners do too. Thank you, Senator Cruz.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. God bless.
Yes, sir. God bless you too. The unbelievable, the unmatched, the conservative icon, Ted Cruz, who endorsed Rick Jackson. Rick Jackson goes on to win. I don't know that it's Ted Cruz's endorsement that pushed him across the finish line yesterday, but it couldn't hurt because people do listen and respond to Ted Cruz. And I was looking at the map. Metro Atlanta went ruby red for Rick Jackson, and then North Georgia went strong for Rick Jackson. Just looking at the way the election map worked out as far as county by county, it was unexpected, I believe, and just it's incredible. And look, the Rick Jackson camp's already reached out to Los tonight. They had a late night, obviously. We'll be in touch. They said we will be in there because we've got a new task ahead in Keisha Lance Bottoms. Morning Extra at Extra 106.3, 6 o'clock hour. What am I saying? 7 o'clock hour. We continue it
You're doing great.
I know.
And I'm your primary supporter.
That's right, and I love that. You're my Ted Cruz.
That's right. I'm here to back you.
We have got Neil Bortz, the Talk Master, coming up next on Extra.
You better not say anything wrong to him.
No, dude. He'll come at me. I hope it doesn't come at me like freaking Flounder goes after poor Pete. That's what I hope doesn't happen. Talk Master next on Extra.
You can stream Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station while you work at extra1063.com. Get the latest from the Morning Extra, The Kimmer Show, and Neil Bortz, and stay connected at the office. That's xtra1063.com.
Hey, it's Front Office Los with Tom, the honest car guy. Let's talk about the new way to buy a car in 2026. Tell me how you can save clients thousands of dollars in this process.
I got a customer here, Jeff Everhart. I met him today first time because I delivered his 25 model Honda Pilot, fully loaded with only 16,000 miles on it. Jeff, answer Los's question about that one.
It was actually shocking. I mean, you hear the advertisements, you want to believe it, and then when you go through with the sale, and there's no extras, there's no dock fees, there's no storage fees, no transportation fees. The price I was given was the price that I paid plus their honest fee. I did save thousands of dollars, and it was a very quick sale.
Well, we appreciate that.
And did it from my living room.
Did it from your living room.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Gentlemen, listen up. When it's not hard, it's really hard. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 have some form of ED? It's true, and I'm one of them. ED followed me everywhere. Heck, even my initials are ED. I'm Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia, and I know ED. It can lead to feelings of embarrassment, stress, and sadness. But there's good news. I can fix it. I fixed mine, and I can fix yours too. At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, we are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, Trimix to create an erection, and more. Guys, ED won't get better on its own, but I can help you today. Call us at 404-777-1911. That's 404-777-1911, or learn about us more online at tbtofga.com. So take it from me, ED, Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Call 404-777-1911 or online at tbtofga.com.
The future of business in Georgia is bright, and Georgia Power is a driving force behind the businesses and organizations that are vital to the growth of the state. Just ask Mark O'Brien, President and CEO of Lake Point Sports, the premier travel and youth sports destination.
Georgia Power was exceptional to Lake Point in helping us understand energy needs, energy efficiency, opportunities. What does that look like? Well, when you have a 120,000 square foot clear span space of athletes competing, you can get pretty hot, particularly in the summer. And to cool that off, they were instrumental in advising us, well, what we want to do is get air circulating. So we put in these massive fans in the ceiling to help circulate the air and help with the energy efficiency as well, as one small example of their service.
To learn more about how Georgia Power is helping businesses big and small, visit GeorgiaPower.com and tune in all year to discover how they're powering the future of Georgia.
Hey, it's Kimmer. How's it going? If you spent the last 20 years maybe making memories in your home, maybe it's time to prepare for the next 20. That's why you can trust Jeff Shea and the team at Peach State Windows. They're helping Georgia homeowners protect and improve their homes for more than 50 years. How about this? 8 double-hung vinyl replacement windows installed for just $39.95. 0% financing for 12 months and a lifetime warranty. PeachStateWindows.com, 770-485-8011. Peach State Windows, ready for the next 20 years.
The walk-off home run, the buzzer beater, the photo finish. That feeling when everything lines up and you get what you need just when you need it. It feels unbelievable in sports, but when it comes to your finances, it makes you feel unstoppable. Visit Truist.com today to see how having the tools you need and a great team by your side can help you take your game to the next level. Truist Bank. Member FDIC.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. The legacy of Joe Biden lives. His open border policy let millions of illegal criminals stream into our country. We continue to have customers visit the showroom and report that they have been victims of break-ins and lost their hard-earned and irreplaceable items. So don't be a victim. Drive by the Safe House showroom and see what real security looks like. Picture yourself placing your valuables in a Fort Knox safe. Now that's real protection for your priceless valuables. Drop by the showroom or go to AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Wednesday, June 17th, and here are your headlines. Georgia Republicans have settled several major statewide runoff races. Billionaire healthcare executive Rick Jackson had won the GOP nomination for governor, defeating current Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones despite Jones having President Trump's endorsement. In the Senate race, Congressman Mike Collins won the Republican nomination, will face Democratic Senator John Ossoff in November. Republicans also nominated Greg Dolezal for Lieutenant Governor and Tim Fleming for Secretary of State. Georgia is expanding its literacy efforts after state officials reported that only 62% of third graders are not reading proficiently. A new statewide initiative places literacy coaches in every public elementary school and establishes a unified approach to reading instruction. Education leaders say the changes are designed to improve long-term reading outcomes. The results will take time. And finally, the Cobb County School District has filed a lawsuit against the Cobb County Board of Commissioners over millions of dollars in tax collection fees. School leaders say the county plans to increase the free fee from more than $13 million from this year to over $20 million next year. Money they argue would otherwise support teachers, classroom instruction, and student programs. Coming up next, the Talkmaster Neil Bortz will join the show. And an hour from now, Dr. Rich McCormick will join Tug and Los to talk about UFC Freedom 250. Today's weather is partly cloudy with a high of 86 and a low of 75. The Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. We are so proud to have Neil Bortz on the show this morning.
What you said earlier.
Well, that's what I'm saying now. I've changed my mind.
Too.
Why are you winking at me?
I heard it.
I changed my mind.
I know, Talkmaster.
Like J.D. Vance, I changed my mind.
I heard it.
How you doing this morning, Neil, with all your travels?
Finally, we are in one place that we'll probably spend about the next month in.
Month?
And that's the Rocky Mountains.
Okay. Wow.
All right. Well, that's a large enough area that no one's going to find you, but really well done.
Rocky Mountain High.
We're behind armed guards anyway.
Okay.
Good Lord.
So what's the temperature here today? Huh? It says feels like 41.
Lord, that's chilly out there.
It's nice.
The high will be in the low 70s.
It's not terribly different than here. I think we're going to get about 75, 76.
Well, there is a big difference. I don't wear a damn bulletproof vest around here.
Fair enough.
Fair.
There's virtually no chance of random violence from somebody. Oh, he's suffering mental problems.
Well,
that's all part of the damn script, isn't it now?
Well, don't get on MARTA.
Huh?
I said, well, don't get on MARTA.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, when I lived in Dumpwoody, I've told you this before, MARTA was very handy to get to the airport from that whatever the hell station it is up there. But no longer. No, you could not get me on a MARTA train right now. I mean, look, that brings me to one of the little notes that I made here, and this about you have got You have got a they, them in the... Is it the Fulton County Commission or the Atlanta City Council? Fulton County Commission, I believe.
Yes,
no,
sir.
Atlanta. Kelsey Bond?
Yeah.
They, them?
Yeah. I saw that too.
They, them is a particularly sick kind of individual. You do not want serving in public office.
It doesn't seem like a... Doesn't seem like a good thing to have happen. Somebody that is that is struggling with a mental illness to represent a lot of people. I agree.
I know, and I agree with you. You just flat out stated it. If you use they, them pronouns, you are suffering from a mental illness.
Yeah, it's been that way for, I don't know, as long as time has existed.
Yep, you are deranged.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh, we need more police diversion programs. We don't need more policing diversion programs. And you know what gets me is I hear somebody tell me, crime has dropped. Do you guys believe crime has dropped?
Not particularly.
I believe that reporting crime has dropped. I believe that in many, I can't say this absolutely for Atlanta. I don't pay that much attention, don't live there anymore. But I think that there are efforts underway in government circles that say, well, let's not report this as an assault. Let's just go ahead and reduce the charges here to public disturbance. And that way it's not an assault and it doesn't go on the records as an assault. And I think that goes on all over the place, that the reason crime is going down is because of reporting issues. First of all, they categorize it down when they catch the criminal. I'm not buying it. But we need diversion programs. Then we got this governor of, where was it? Ohio, the governor of Ohio. He wants to get rid of the death penalty. He says it doesn't serve to deter violence. Hell no, it doesn't deter violence if you execute the guy 18 years after he committed the murder. You know, we need a crash program in this country to come up with a way to give people their right to a fair trial and an appeal, and then kill them. Then execute them.
Yeah, no. Well, look, I think a lot of people feel that way. Why do
you spend 25 years on death row?
And then on top of that, just the money, the funding to feed, house, all the things that go along with
ongoing appeals in the interest of maybe one person out of 1,000 out of 10,000 end up finding evidence that gets them off of death row.
It's not even out of 1,000. Yeah. It is so rare. You know, and it's almost as rare as bungee jumping without a cord.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is why you don't go and do these sort of things in third world countries, in my opinion.
I have a lot of politicians a lot of people I'd like to send to Brazil for a bungee jump.
Yeah, I'll put it this way, Neil. I look at it like this. I will never, ever have a parachuting accident jumping out of a plane. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I would never jump out of a plane with a parachute.
Why not?
Because
the
there's
possibility of dying.
I will never go skydiving. Like Tug is the adventurous one. He's like, he'll jump out of planes with a parachute.
Used to be.
Tug would be like, I'll go bungee cord off a bridge. You know
Tug,
what?
Have you jumped?
I have, yes, sir.
How'd you like it?
I loved it. It was the most amazing feeling in the entire world. I don't know that I have the courage to do it like I did when I was 20 and in the military.
Well, I had to be 20. I had to be 20 and in college, and the only reason I did it is to spite my father. Why would anybody ever jump out of a perfectly good airplane? I want to do it, Dad. Okay, I'm signing the release. He thought that I was going to wuss out.
And then you didn't. See, I was already in military, so I'd already moved away. But yeah, I went bungee jumping 4 or 5 times, and then skydiving. I've only been once, but man, I loved it.
You know what I regret is that, when I jumped, basically we were using military surplus parachutes.
Sir, you had me at surplus.
That's right. Sir. That makes me nervous, Neil, for you.
But now they have these canopies that you can fly.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I see that, I said, damn, I wish I could have tried that. But at my age right now, no, I don't,
Same here. I mean, I'm 49, and there's just that part of me that.
Oh God, how can you live being that old?
Well, but it's not that, Neil, necessarily. It's just that as you get older, you become less adventurous. Is all? Don't you agree? Do you think that?
Not Neil.
No. Well, okay. Other than Neil, everybody else seems to come a little more conservative.
We're adventurous, but I mean, not in ways. As much as I hate to say it, my 81-year-old physical body probably has some limitations that were not in place when I was 31 years old.
Fair enough.
All that makes sense. All that adds up.
I'm not going to jump out of airplanes.
Well, I'll also never have a hot air balloon ride that ends with me in a bunch of electric cords.
Did you do that too?
just pointing out that there will never be a point where it's like, oh, look at those wires that are filled with electricity. We might run into them. I'll never get in a hot air balloon either.
Oh, that is something amazing. That is something amazing.
Is it amazing? It seems terrible.
No. I mean, except when the burner is, the burner's on, it's so quiet up there.
Now, I can see that a little bit.
Like death.
Death is very quiet.
What's really, if you happen to descend through a cloud and you're in the middle of a cloud, which you're not supposed to do, but what the hell, if you need to land, you got to go down. But anyway, your voice echoes in a cloud.
Wow.
When you're not burning, you start talking, it's echoing, it's bouncing off all those raindrops. It's really the water drops in a cloud. It's really surreal.
Gosh, man, that's cool.
Or I could go in my bathroom and do the same thing.
And get the same echo.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's ways to replicate it.
I don't need the Neil Borge thrills, okay? I'll get my thrills other ways.
That's right.
That beats the hell out of what you're going to the bathroom for now.
True, absolutely, 100%. No doubt about it. By the way, Neil, as the Talkmaster joins us right here on the Morning Extra, so I had to look into it. There has been somewhere between 8,800 and 9,000 people that have been on death row in the last 50 years, 202 exonerated from additional information. And typically it's been DNA evidence that they didn't have at the time period. So 202 out of 9,000.
Yeah. So look, you ought to be able to have the trial. Let them prepare for the trial. Then you have the trial, the appeal, and then the execution. You ought to be able to have all of that within 90 days. And I guarantee you, if somebody, some future Carmelo Anthony, who they're trying to make into the next George Floyd, but you'll think twice before you stick a knife in somebody's heart. You know what? I could be executed within 90 days if I even think about doing something like this. And I was going to rant with you guys this morning because I was watching some police information last night. It is completely unbelievable. Most people do not realize this, but in an urban setting, if you see a young black male on the streets, what do you think the chances are? It's overwhelming chances, yes, they have a gun. Because you can't have your street credibility as a young black male if you don't have a gun.
Just like Tug.
You have to have a gun. And it has to have an extended magazine. And the barrel has to go down your pant leg. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And, the cities are safer now. They're safer. No.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, here's a project for you because here's a project. This was a lot of fun. Is Atlanta still spending I don't know. I haven't researched it. Millions of dollars a year on the arts?
Oh, I would imagine so. I mean, I don't have any evidence or any information in front of me necessarily, but I would imagine the answer is yes.
Well, when I get bored, I'm dangerous.
I love it.
So.
$2 million, by the way, allocated for this year for municipal support for the arts program.
How much?
$2 million for this year.
I think that may be down. But anyway, I went and got these applications that these so-called artists file with what I believe at this time was the Atlanta Council for the Arts or something, on what they were going to do with the grants they got of other people's money. And then you get their applications, but then you go back and you get the written report that they had to file to show what they accomplished with their grant money. And it was stunning what some of these people got away with. And somewhere, I hope I didn't get rid of those files, but somewhere, like, somebody's going to do a poetry reading.
Oh,
so I need $600,000 to do a poetry reading for disadvantaged children in the community.
What is the likelihood, Neil? What is the likelihood that some of that money, to get the grant, you have to agree to peel off some and send it back to maybe a politician or a political party? What do you think the likelihood of that is?
Well, I think
it's strong.
About this, I think it is. But this poetry reader eventually had one kindergarten class that they read some poems to fulfill their obligation under a $600,000 grant. And meanwhile, there's a family somewhere in Atlanta that's having trouble putting food on the table and keeping their rent paid because the breadwinner lost his job. They could use some of that $600,000, but oh no, an artist has to read poetry to a kindergarten class. Get into the records in Atlanta right now and find out how much of that crap there is going on.
Yeah, I bet it's a bunch.
Let me just tell you, the executive director for the city of Atlanta, it notes that she is nationally recognized as a leader in cultural equity, arts administration, and community transformation.
Cultural equity.
Wonder what that person makes.
What in the hell does that mean?
Nothing. Nothing. It means nothing.
It's
there's no value.
I'd rather read about flesh-eating bacteria.
Well, at least that's
cultural
interesting.
Equity.
Yeah, at least that's interesting.
But the left loves the word equity because they think that people actually mean that what they're talking about there is equal rights. It's not equal rights. It's equal results. And that's in a nutshell, that's what they're talking about when they say equity, equal results. Everybody ought to have the same amount of stuff. And you keep electing these so-called democratic socialists who really are not democratic at all. They're just socialist. And now the stronger they get in the cities in this country, the worse it's going to hurt. Wait till they start telling people with large houses, you have 6 bedrooms in your house and you only use one of them. You're going to have to make those other bedrooms available to the unhoused.
Well, let's start up on like Martha's Vineyard and see how long as we can get it going there.
It worked really great last time when we sent a whole bunch of illegals over there.
Oh, didn't you love that?
And they only called in the military.
Yeah, they called in the military. Get these immigrants, these illegals, the hell off our island.
And those are the people that vote for it. For you and I.
I know it. But when Don and I visited the Soviet Union, in the first, I think, probably the first group of American citizens, ordinary, day-to-day, who moved in with Soviet families to experience their lives as they lived them for a week. And we moved in with the Soviet family, and I'll always remember them. What's his name and his wife, Irene, and Boris. Anyway, not good enough.
Okay.
But anyway, they lived in, I think, about 2 bedrooms that were part of a large mansion from before the revolution that got chopped into pieces to cram as many families in this building as they possibly could. And this was their home. And this is what Mom Danny. So, Mom Danny? Yeah. What a jerk. Don't you know he's going to be in the middle of the New York Knicks celebrations?
Oh, yeah. I think he's already, he's been a visible part.
He couldn't show any support for Israel, but by God, he's going to be at that Knicks parade, isn't he?
Yes, there's no doubt about it. And Mr., give everything to everybody, got gifted, the best tickets in the house for that, and World Cup and everything else. And my thing is, why wouldn't he give that to somebody else? I thought that's the whole point.
There's no point with him.
No, it's right.
It's never been this way. It's why the party lives on high and everybody else is way, way below.
This Kelsey Bond on the in Fulton County, and I'm still not clear. I'm pretty sure she's city. Is she one of those Democratic socialists?
I don't know, but I'll look it up real quick.
They, them pronouns.
Atlanta City Council. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
District 2, Midtown, Old 4th Ward, Virginia Highland, Ponce, Highland. I've found it's Bond.
Cities cannot survive these people.
Yeah, boy, she's something else here.
Oh, you want to know about that executive director of the Atlanta Arts?
Yes, please. I can only imagine.
When the position was available and they were hiring, the job profile read it was between $142,000 and $173,000. In order for you to do that job for the city of Atlanta.
Yeah. She's definitely a Democrat. I don't see Democrat Socialist just on her page, but I've not had the chance to read it all. Yeah. But she's definitely a Democrat.
Can I make you two mad now?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And your listeners?
Yes, sir.
Someday you're gonna send me how to get access to my email if it still exists over there, so I could read all the nasty things people send.
They just call us, or they email us at tell Bortz this. I'm like, I'm not the receptionist.
Yeah, this whole deal with Trump and Iran is a steaming pile of yak squeeze.
I am so glad you brought this up, and here's the reason why, Neil. Just a week ago, you were like, there will not be a deal. There will never be a deal. This is not going anywhere. All right, you're going to have to reverse course and say...
No, there's no deal.
Hold on. You said last week there would be no deal. Now there is apparently something that's going to be signed, which, by the way, no one has seen. So to say with any definitive ability that it is yak squeeze, I would say, why don't we give it a week? Maybe we should use the previous week when you said there would be no deal to give it a week to see what is in the deal.
Okay, I'll say this. You're going to wish there wasn't a deal when you find out what's in it.
Okay, and for what reason?
Look, it's going to put everybody back where they started, with one exception, and that is Iran is going to come out of this with a weakened and decimated military and minus a few weird beards.
You got rid of a few of those. Yeah. We'll see. I guess we'll see on Friday, and then we'll be able to discuss it on Tuesday.
But Oman and Iran will have legitimized their claim of control over the Straits of Hormuz, and it will not be open as it was before. They will be charging administrative fees or whatever they want to call it over ships that transmit or transit that thing. Yeah. It's going to be right there. Oh, and then Iran is going to get billions of dollars in cash.
The one thing I do know is we cannot trust Iran. That I know.
Then there's no deal.
That I do not believe we can trust Iran. I don't believe, even if there's a deal in place, I don't know that Iran lives up to any parts of their side of the deal. That's so if that's your argument, then I can see that, because I don't trust Iran either. I do think the United States is working in good faith to try to make it work.
Well, they aren't. There is a word in Islam and in Islam governance, and I can't remember it and don't care to remember it. I just know it's there. It is perfectly okay under the rules and regulations set down by the desert rat child molester, Muhammad, There are rules and regulations. It is okay to lie and deceive your enemies or infidels or people of the book if you're doing it to achieve legitimate Islamic goals. So in the eyes and ears of the negotiators for Iran, they will lie, they will deceive, they will obfuscate. They can do anything they want as long as it is in the cause of getting the advantage over the great Satan in any kind of a deal after this. They cannot be trusted. They have made it clear, hey, we can't be trusted. We can lie to you. We can engage in any degree of deceit we wish to in order to get you to back down and leave us alone. And that's what they're doing. And we can't have boots on the ground. Look, Iran is posing a threat to so many institutions and people around the world. If it takes boots on the ground to get rid of that regime, maybe that's where it was going to have to go. They'll never give up those. They're going to spend 6 months now getting a hold of that enriched uranium and do the same thing with it that Saddam Hussein did with his weapons of mass destruction. Let's get this stuff. Let's put it somewhere where they won't know, they won't find it, and then we can make a claim that we've destroyed it.
By the way, the word... It starts with a T, and I'm not even going to try it.
Taqiyya, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and that is true, Neil. There's no doubt in it, no doubt about that, and you see it all over the world.
And then
Taqiyya is what I see.
Tell me, Donald Trump, how do you make a deal with people who brag about their doctrine of lying and deceiving you in order to achieve their goals?
How
do you do that?
I don't know the answer, but I know that the United States is working in good faith, and the Iranians are untrustworthy. So I don't know how this all shakes out, but we'll see on Friday.
No, don't get me wrong. I hope it does. I mean, I hope that we get some real benefit other than destroying, for the time being, Iran's military posture, capabilities. I hope something comes out of it. I hope that that Tehran becomes another, Dubai or something with ski resorts and all this kind of nonsense. But there is absolutely nothing positive about the cult of Islam, and it is going to remain a worldwide threat. They finally realized that in Europe, didn't they?
They did. So did the UAE.
Yeah.
The UAE foreign minister said more terrorists will come out of the United States and Europe because of not understanding the danger of Islam.
I don't think this is overly complicated when it comes to the Iranians. You basically let them know that you're going to have a new neighbor. It's called an Ohio-class submarine, and they'll be parked off your coast.
Yeah, that's right.
It drinks a lot.
So if you want to get cute, you already know we'll hit you. We'll hit you again.
Yeah. I think it was one of the leaders in Poland that was talking recently. I probably got the country wrong, but they were asking him about immigration and Muslims in Poland. He said, we don't have any. Not only do we not have any, but we're not going to have any. They will not be admitted into this nation. We are a sovereign nation. We can make these decisions. We don't want Muslims. And they're not coming here. Now, you guys can fact-check that. I think it was Poland, pretty sure, but it's too bad more European nations didn't have that attitude. And if they had, the number one baby name in London wouldn't be Mohammed.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Europe has gone the exact opposite direction, to your point. But got to leave it there, Neil. We will talk about it. We'll rendezvous next Tuesday and have a discussion about it.
And where will I be? Oh, I'll still be right here.
There you go.
And I'm going to work on my list of people we want to send on bungee jumping trips to Brazil.
All right.
Or give them surplus parachutes.
That's right.
We'll see how it turns out.
Both seems like they would be pretty bad. Thank you, Neil. We love you, man.
Double-ply toilet paper.
That's right. Hope you have a great day, bud.
Oh, it can't help but be a great day.
In the Rocky Mountains.
I'm going to go up on the mountain and ride these toboggan sleds down the mountain.
Boy, your adventurousness has returned quite quickly.
I won't be all that fast, I promise you.
All right, then. The field of candidates is set for the general election in November next at Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, June 17th. The Atlanta Braves game with the San Francisco Giants was suspended last night due to rain, with the Giants leading 3-2. That game will resume this afternoon. That's going to be a 2 o'clock start, as the third inning will start getting underway. Then later tonight, game 2 of the series will get started with the first pitch at 7:15. You can hear all of the action all day long today on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. From the College World Series, Georgia still alive after a 2-0 win last night over the Texas Longhorns, eliminating them. Another elimination game tonight as Georgia faces off once again against Oklahoma. That'll be a 7 o'clock start time. In the earlier matchup today, that'll be a 2 o'clock start time. West Virginia matches up against North Carolina. That's still in the double elimination round. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
I'm so sick of all these cheesy lawyer billboards. You might be too. If you're injured in a car crash, you don't hire a lawyer because they're sweet or strong or the biggest. You hire a lawyer who is recognized by their peers as one of the top lawyers in the state. You hire a lawyer who's going to listen to you, fight for you, and has the case results to prove it. That lawyer is me, Bruce Hagan, the people's lawyer. I've been proudly selected by my fellow lawyers as one of the top 100 lawyers in the state, and for 21 consecutive years as Georgia's super lawyer. Hagan-law.com, Hagan-law.com.
If you want a smart new Toyota with a payment that makes sense, it's time for you to take a look at the 2026 Toyota Corolla. Reliable, efficient, and built for long-term value. It's a great fit for daily driving, commuting, and keeping ownership simple. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. And we're voted Best of Comp for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, and Best Service Center. It's the thing that Jared and his people pride themselves on, giving you the best deal and the best service. A well-qualified buyer, 6.49% APR for 72 months is available on the new 2026 Corolla through June 30th. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota, since 1975. We've been here and will be here for you.
6.49% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers are qualified. End 6/30/2026. See dealer for details. All prices exclude tax, tag, title, and include $699 dock fee and $257 electronic tag fee.
Want to experience the best membership in sports? Join the Atlanta Braves A-List season ticket waitlist. A-List members receive the best seats at the lowest prices and discounts on parking, food, and merchandise. Plus, A-Listers are guaranteed postseason ticket access and enjoy special events featuring players and alumni. So reserve your spot in line by joining the Atlanta Braves A-List memberships waitlist today at braves.com/waitlist. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Just a little travelogue here. After about 2.5 weeks in 100-degree plus temperatures, Don and I have now made our way to the heart of the Rocky Mountains, where the low tonight will be 38, the high tomorrow 72. The Bortz bus has heated floors. We're going to love it. Okay, on to more important things. I saw an interview on television. I can't tell you who was doing the interviewing, who, what, where, why, when, all of that, but he was talking to college graduates about what they were going to do with their degrees. Now, both of these graduates had 5-figure student loans. One of them had a student loan of nearly $80,000 and no job to pay for it. What did she study in school? Latin studies. She appeared to be a Latino herself, so okay, I guess goes with the territory. He asked her what she was going to do for a living. What kind of job was she now qualified for? And all she could say was, I'm going to help people understand their Latin heritage. Oh, really? And how much are they going to pay you for that? You could fix their garbage disposal and make a lot more money. Well, the other female student with 5 figures of student debt and a degree in what? Shakespeare. He asked her the question, how are you going to earn money? What kind of job are you going to have? All he could get out of her was, she was doomed. She's going to be waiting tables. Maybe she could use some Shakespeare. Between these fries, your burger lies. These girls will be demanding fairness. And the only thing that's fair to them is for them to have some of your money to pay their student loans. Ready to freeze my butt off in the Rockies? Neil Bortz Extra 106.3.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
He insists the U.S.-Iran deal is a great one. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
For a lot of reasons, but number one, by far, 99.9% is they will never have a nuclear weapon.
And this morning, while sitting next to Egypt's leader at the G7 summit in France, President Trump also warned Iran.
If they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head.
The president also insists the U.S. would not invest a dime in Iran, and the agreement that will be signed Friday will fully reopen oil and other shipping in the Strait of Hormuz.
And the market has gone wild, and oil has come tumbling down.
As for critics of the deal, the president says,
the stupid people want to have a worldwide depression.
Also at the summit, G7 leaders have pledged more military and financial support for Ukraine in the war against Russia. We're learning more about the plot the FBI thwarted to attack the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House Sunday night. 5 people under arrest, 18 others being investigated.
They're facing multiple charges, including conspiracy to commit murder. Investigators say the plot called for drones to drop explosives, which would then trigger a mass evacuation toward a pre-staged sniper team. Then a second wave of attackers would breach the White House gates. The mother of one of the alleged suspects, Tyson Proper, contacted authorities over concerns about her son's recent behavior, firearm purchases, and his communications with people he met online. Her call to investigators ultimately led to Tyson's arrest and helped foil the plot.
Fox's Todd Pyro. A win and a loss for President Trump in Georgia. The Republican he backed won a Senate primary runoff. Congressman Mike Collins beat Derek Dooley.
Hey, y'all know what the mission is. It's to put a Republican in that seat and get rid of that John Ossoff in November. Return this seat to the people of Georgia.
But another Republican the president endorsed in Georgia, Burt Jones, lost a runoff for governor. He was defeated by Rick Jackson. Trump-backed Republicans won Senate primaries in 2 other states, Congressman Kevin Hern in Oklahoma and Barry Moore in Alabama. America's listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
This is Tucker Carlson. You're listening to Atlanta's only conservative talk station, Extra 106.3, worldwide on the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3.
Yeah, that's why they hate him.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why Clay Travis is hated.
Yes, it is.
We got somebody from Outsports trying to call him a homophobe. He throws it back at him last night by just saying, it's impossible for me to be homophobic. I love lesbians. See, when you go lower, when you make it lowest common denominator, we all kind of wink and nod as dudes. We're like, I see you grandstanding. It's not going to help you.
Yeah, I don't have anything for you. I have no like the things you say have no effect on me. I just don't care what you think.
Bryce, you ever seen the movie Office Space?
I've started it, never finished it.
Okay, there's a scene there when it's the neighbor of the main character, and he's got a really strong dude kind of accent. And, they're kind of pondering the meaning of life. And his neighbor tells him, you know what I do with $1 million? 2 chicks at the same time. He just kind of nods like, okay, that's what you do with $1 million, huh?
Right on, man.
All right, right on. And that has never gone away. It's never not been funny for some reason.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And that's been, I think that tweet's been shared now.
Of all things to waste $1 million on.
Seriously. But,
we'll buy a new house, gonna invest in college or education. No.
Goodness. Oh, Lord.
2 chicks at the same time.
It's just I love the lowest common denominator. Just when they hit low, you hit lower.
And that's why they hate Clay Travis.
That's right.
You can hear him noon to 3.
And that's why he's on the biggest show in all of conservative media here on Extra 106.3. Noon to 3, as Los mentioned, Beck, a couple hours, 10 to noon. And then in the afternoon, the Kimmer Show.
Oh, my God.
That's a disappointed Kimmer.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
That's disappointed Kimmer.
He's just like a flounder. What have you done?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's oh, my God. Okay, that's angry. Like, I can't believe you just ran over my foot.
What have you done?
Right.
I'm going to need a new leg.
Oh, my God. All right. That there is somebody took a shot at him.
That's right.
Like at his house. Like just drove by and shot through a window.
And then he breaks out the big guns and chases them down.
Going to unleash Kimmer hell on you.
That's what happens. Oh, my God. that's kind of the same. That's the same neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Those are interchangeable.
Yes, they are. Yeah, those two are.
Find out in total. Because, Kimmer, here's the thing I'm fascinated by. Kimmer has sent videos to various people who have worked on this show. And never once has the same gun shown up twice.
So you're asking how many he has total?
I just,
like ballpark?
I'm not ballpark. I'm not saying for him to give away the arsenal. But like the last one, the repeater, that Winchester, that was a gorgeous weapon.
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah.
But that also goes to the fact that he does have a Kalashnikov, which I've seen that video.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a bunch of stuff.
And I'm fairly certain the gold-plated Desert Eagles are somewhere over there, too.
Yeah, that's right.
I just went back and watched that video. There's also a pistol and a holster on the couch laying next to him.
Yeah.
And I don't know in that video, but I've seen him with a pistol and a holster around his waist like cowboy style. I'm talking John Wayne.
Yeah, that iron on his hip.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, no, yeah, that's the one.
Is it? Okay, yeah.
And it's each, in the belt, it's each individual bullet. It has a little spot.
Dude, I love it. Yeah, like Bugs Bunny style. Remember Bugs Bunny used to do that? That was so great. Kimmer's one of a kind. We're so lucky. We are beyond lucky to have the Kimmer on this radio station. He is a national treasure and deserves to be treated like one. Like, I don't say this about many people, but he's right up there with Dolly Parton. The national treasure. Now, Dolly's much better looking. But I'm telling you, the value of the two are the exact same. Just absolutely.
You got to have a Kimmer cookie.
Priceless.
She's got Dollywood.
Yeah. He's got
baking.
He's got what?
Baking.
Oh, because he bakes those cookies for everybody and brings them in.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Yeah, she's got Dollywood, but he's got lots of guns.
It's kind of becoming an issue, by the way.
What do you mean?
Which part, the Dollywood or the baking of cookies?
The baking.
Why?
It's just people trying to diet.
Oh, but look, Kimmer cookies, they don't have calories.
No, they don't have calories.
That I know of.
No, they're just pure sugar and butter, which makes them so good.
That's right.
It makes them 0 calories. It's fat free.
Delicious and 0 calories.
Did you check out my Frenchman?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I had it pulled ready to go for yesterday.
When he starts talking about Buc-ee's and what is it? The
brisket sandwich?
No, he starts talking about one of their sweet treats, like their beaver something, and how
beaver nuggets, I think they're called?
Yeah, he tried them for the first time.
Okay, so I've not seen that. I think I've missed that one.
Okay.
Do you have that? Bryce, can you get it?
Let me get the video.
All right.
Okay, yeah, just take your time. Like I said, we'll get into the end of the hour. But yeah, he celebrates. He was like, I wanted to go there and hate it. Then I had the beaver nuggets. He's like, oh my God. He's like,
oh my God!
Yeah, I ate them all in the parking lot.
That's right, dude. And I bet they're 10,000 calories. If you ate the whole bag,
if you ate the whole bag,
at least 10,000 calories. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770 get heat. CentralHeat.com. First thing to know this morning on Extra.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high. Man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
Oh my God!
Put a boot in your ass.
It just fits so perfectly.
Just works perfectly.
Last night, a fun night because I was able to watch the Georgia game on the TV, watch what was happening unfold in the state of Georgia on my phone. The Braves have been rained out, so that taking that out of the equation. And some surprising outcomes, I do believe.
Yeah, I had it on the big screen. I had the Georgia game, and then on the littler screen, I ended up having the results. And to look into so much of this stuff. Well, let's just start when it comes to governor. Defying the betting markets, Rick Jackson ends up winning, and considering, and I know that Burt Jones ended up bringing this up in his speech to his supporters there in Jackson. Rick ended up having a large lead when it came to the banked votes. The early voting went his way. And to then see, and we saw, as the information started to come in, Rick Jackson had a significant lead early. The Burt Jones votes that started to come in from county by county tightened it up, but not enough to where Rick Jackson ends up winning comfortably and defying the betting markets. Now, this is what we talked about, the issue that was going on with the betting markets. The betting markets, the prognostication was based off of 900,000 votes, which is what we had a month ago. We were told by a multitude of camps that it was going to be about 700,000. And sure enough, you can look at all the statewide results. 708,000 people in a state where, for instance, when it comes to Donald Trump, he's going to get somewhere between 2.5, 2.6 million. So it was a limited amount of Republican voters, and that's why turnout is such a huge deal all the time.
And they needed it, and Rick was able to do that by a little less than 40,000 votes is what separated them. I wonder how many people decided to change their votes. That's the one thing that I don't know that we'll ever learn the answer to, but that I'm most curious by. Did people in the original go in and vote for Burt and then change in the runoff to Rick? Was that due to his story? Was that due to his independence? Could it have been the endorsement of Brian Kemp? Could that have pushed people away? I don't know the answer. I think they're all valid questions, though.
Knowing that it is a reduced amount of people, it seems that the prognostication of what was starting to happen was that Rick Jackson did pick up a larger amount of the Chris Carr and Brad Raffensperger voters. That has to be the only explanation for the margin to get to the number that he got to.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that. But I'm still curious about the vote switching because I know a handful of people that did, and
it's a short time to have that happen, isn't it?
It is.
But then again, we are talking about a race in which you had a general unknown.
That's right.
But
you did.
After spending as much money,
$200 million, and that was the thing that I kept hearing about Rick. I know his story. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's about. Now, I did see a lot of people that day when I went, day before yesterday when I went over to Alpharetta, and actually Ted Cruz brought it up too when we had him on. There were people that worked for Rick or have worked for Rick over the years and came up and were giving just him praise and saying thank you for creating a great work environment. I've been working at your company. He works at the company's like $6 billion or something crazy, $3 billion, whatever it is, a huge number, a gigantic. In Jackson Healthcare is a gigantic employer, and those people seem to be genuinely happy about working for him. So I think if you turn out some of those people, that is a big game changer.
I don't mean to disparage the amount of advertising that he did because we greatly appreciate it, and so does the rest of the marketplace. And we'll continue. But I learned just as much from talking to friends who work for him.
Oh, that's great. I didn't speak to anybody that did.
A couple of friends that I met through another friend and known them for a number of years. And these are guys I've played golf with, been over to their Halloween parties. I know them pretty solidly well. And they had great things to say about Rick Jackson. In part, their comment was, well, not really sure why he decided to run, but we know that he'll have things pretty straightened out because working for him is pretty good.
And then I know this has been talked about a little bit, but I think it's worth bringing up again. The tweet from Donald Trump Jr. when he talked about, hey, I know this has been a tough battle, but there are two good men, and we said this yesterday, even before, we've said it the whole time.
We said it the whole time.
Well before Donald Trump Jr. posted this, but it stood out to me at 3:05 that day, day before yesterday, when they posted this saying, you got two guys that love the state of Georgia, that want to put Georgia first, want to put America first. It has been a slugfest. But however it turns out, it's going to turn out good. Now, he did go on to praise Rick Jackson for the penicillin. You know, the one factory that was set to close down, Rick was able to swoop in and help. Same with, there was another company did the same thing about. He was the biggest investor, saved that company, which was, important to the United States of America. So they showered him with praise, and then they came back and said, this is not an endorsement. However, whoever wins, you're getting a good representative in the state of Georgia, hedging their bets a little bit from the White House. Trump couldn't do it. Donald Trump Jr. could and did. That's when I knew. That's when my radar went up that something was probably going to be different. I didn't read into it as much as I should have, and hindsight being 2020, now I get it.
So this came down at 1 o'clock in the morning. You had Donald J. Trump, congratulations to Rick Jackson, who was very successfully campaigned on being Trump and won. Said he'll be your next governor of Georgia. Can't wait, President DJT.
Dude, that's quite a compliment from a guy that did not have Trump's endorsement.
And yet, because of, and this is, we talked about this early on. In fact, when the first time that we had Rick Jackson in studio, he talked about something off air that we told him, you need to bring that to the air. Now, again, we're not campaigning for anybody, but we were basically making the point. I'm like, that is a great piece of information, which was he told us, we were at Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump was 90 minutes late for the dinner. He said, we're all looking around like, where is he? He said, by the time he shows up, he informed everybody, hey,
here's what happened.
We started this campaign against Iran. Here's why I'm late. He goes, it all made sense. So he's already running in that atmosphere. He's already part of that group of people. Now, he wasn't going to get the endorsement in part because Burt Jones has been a solid soldier when it comes to backing Donald Trump.
Had it as lieutenant governor, too.
He was not going to get that endorsement.
No.
Trump was only going to endorse one.
That's right.
But it wasn't a matter of him saying, like, I don't recall him ever disparaging Rick Jackson.
At all, at any point. And then we learned that Rick had been up in Virginia with the president at a rally, at a fundraiser, at a function with Donald Trump just this past Saturday. So the relationship is there. And Ted Cruz brought it up. He said, Rick jumped in late. Had the endorsement not already been given, that could have changed it. Now, maybe what Ted didn't realize is that Burt had it as lieutenant governor. It was going
years
to carry,
ago.
Yeah, it was going to carry on.
He's carried it for 6 years.
Yeah, exactly. So but what he said has merit because the relationship is there.
Yeah, the relationship is there. And so...
And Rick was very vocal about saying, I'm going to be Trump's favorite governor.
That's what he keeps throwing out there.
And I hope he's right. I hope that's the case.
And I hope that the betting markets are a little bit better in that right now, as you go through it, the Republicans... Now that we actually have a named person who's going to be doing this in Rick Jackson, I would imagine, because even yesterday, an unnamed Republican was still in the lead in terms of the betting markets to beat Keisha Lance Bottoms. So we'll see how this all kind of turns into what it's going to turn into. And as I've brought up with Ted Cruz and what I firmly believe, the Democrats are going to play not identity politics. They're going to play the, oh, he's rich, so he's bad politics.
Which is no different than anything else they do.
You don't have anything. This guy has a lot. You should vote for us.
Yeah, you should be mad at him. You should be mad at him. Now, this will be coming from people, I would imagine, like Elizabeth Warren, say, and I use this example a lot when she hides behind her staff when she gets off the private jet. So she tries to eliminate the opportunity to get her walking off of a private jet, which is so unbelievably dumb. We know you take a private jet. We know you've made a lot of money. And you know what? I don't hate you for it all. I hate your politics. I hate your ideas. I despise the policy that you try to implement. That's what I don't like. Not that you've made a bunch of money. Now, if you made it in an underhand, maybe we need to take a look at it. But just by being wealthy, I have no ill will toward Pocahontas.
Elizabeth Warren gained the system by pretending to be of Native American heritage.
Bernie Sanders, same way.
That's what she did.
Not the Native American, but gaming the system.
But everything she did, she was able to accelerate her career by pretending she was of minority status.
She's trying to get the box to check.
Telling you, I'm going to do the same thing with my kids. You're going to be like, oh, Medina, all right. And you're going to see some blonde-haired, green-eyed girls walking in. You're going to be like, what the hell?
Dude, one of my best friends in the Navy, his name is...
every time.
One of my best buds in the Navy, his name is Jason Martinez. He's blonde hair, blue eyes. Jason Martinez. So it happens, maybe more often than most people realize.
So we got this Medina kid.
Yeah.
Look, they check all these boxes.
Yet. The hell's going on here?
Real quick, do we want to hit it before I got a Kimmer gun update?
Oh, yeah, might as well. I mean,
definitely.
Before we get to Dr. RichMcCormick.
Okay, for the record, this is my Paladin holster from the TV show Have Gun Will Travel back in the 1950s with Boone, Richard Boone. And this, of course, is the gun that won the West, a Colt 45 revolver. I've got it all back there, pretty good. And yes, it's a 45 caliber, and this is the horse head from the chess business. And it's sterling silver, and the eye you can't see. It's is a ruby. And this was built by the guy who made Paladin's holster for the TV show. I've had this for almost 40 years. Anyway, there you go. So that's a scoop.
Well, there we go. So we know what was in that video that you were referencing, Bryce. I love it. But we still didn't get to the bottom of how many total.
That's just one.
That's right. That's right. How many
Colt
total?
45.
How many? Dude, I love it.
Love it.
Dude, it's so great. All right, Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. Quickly, Derek Dooley goes down to Mike Collins. Not a giant surprise there. Dolezal over JFK here for Lieutenant Governor. I think it's just because Dolezal was such a master at using media to his advantage.
Played the media game, really worked out well for him.
And I expect that will continue to happen.
And by the way, the flip, because remember, Dolezal was trailing John F. Kennedy last month when we got through the initial part of this process. And then by the time you get around to this month, things decidedly changed.
Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. When we come back, Dr. Rich McCormick joins the show. Next on Xtra.
The Morning Xtra, Neil Bortz, and The Kimmer Show are all online for you anytime at thepodcastpark.com. Plus all of Xtra's exclusive podcasts like Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so much more. All at thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. More than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4 or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Hey, it's the Kimmer. How's it going? Think about everything your home's done for you over the years and where you've celebrated milestones, welcomed friends and family, built a lifetime of memories. Maybe your home has earned an upgrade. How about Jeff Shea and the team at Peach State Windows installing beautiful fiberglass French entry doors for just $69.85. Plus, how about a lifetime warranty and 0% financing for 12 months? 770-485-8011. PeachStateWindows.com. Peach State Windows. Your home has earned it.
Hey there, this is Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses. and events like Cobb County Pro Rodeo.
Hi, I am Seth Bice with Bice Rodeo Productions. We are partnering with Southern Rodeo Company for the second annual Cobb County Pro Rodeo. Join us for an exciting weekend of professional cowboys and cowgirls from across the country and the best bucking horses and bulls from across the nation. We are both proud to be family-owned businesses, sanctioned through the International Professional Rodeo Association, and thrilled to be voted the top 5 new rodeo in North America by the IPRA. We can't wait to see you at Jim Miller Park, July 10th and 11th.
Oh, you know I'll be there. Trust me, friends. You don't want to miss this exciting family-friendly event. This will be a sellout, so go to rodeoticket.com and get your tickets now. And remember, Our Town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Wednesday, June 17th, and here are your headlines. Georgia Republicans have settled several major statewide runoff races. Billionaire healthcare executive Rick Jackson won the GOP nomination for governor, defeating Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. Despite Jones having President Trump's endorsement in the Senate race, Congressman Mike Collins won the Republican nomination and will face Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff in November. Republicans also nominated Greg Dolezal for lieutenant governor and Tim Fleming for Secretary of State. Georgia is expanding its literacy efforts after state officials reported that only 62% of third graders are not reading proficiently. A new statewide initiative places literacy coaches in every public elementary school and establishes a unified approach to reading instruction. Education leaders say the changes are designed to improve long-term reading outcomes. The results take time. And finally, the Cobb County School District has filed a lawsuit against the Cobb County Board of Commissioners over millions of dollars in tax collection fees. School leaders say the county plans to increase the fee from more than $13 million this year to over $20 million next year, money they argue could otherwise support teachers, classroom instruction, and other student programs. Coming up next, Dr. Rich McCormick will join Tug and Los right here on the Morning Extra. Today's weather is a high of 86 and a low of 75 and will be partly cloudy. The Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Colbert.
Tug and Los until 10 here on Extra 106.3, joined by Dr. Rich McCormick on the show. And we're grateful that you took time with us, especially after a big day yesterday here in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, there were a lot of people on pins and needles. These were both 50-50 races, so much at stake. The future of Georgia was determined last night, and it's exciting. I mean, great people involved in the race. My hat goes off to the people who actually were defeated, too, because there's some good people that are no longer going to be running. But great race. I hate primaries. I hate them with a passion. People who agree with each other with basically going after each other is just really hard to watch.
Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest. Congressman, I want to ask you about the importance of keeping a Republican as the governor of the state of Georgia. We heard it from Ted Cruz yesterday when he talked about what that could possibly mean for even the Senate with being able to, perhaps get Jon Ossoff out of here as well. How important is it that Rick Jackson ends up continuing to lead the state rather than seeing somebody like a Keisha Lance Bottoms?
Well, everybody knows Keisha is a deeply flawed person, not just a candidate, but a horrible mayor. This is going to be the fight of our lifetime to maintain a great tradition of business savvy and opportunities here in Georgia. If you think about our taxation, the regulation, the business, the jobs, the economy, all the great things that make. My district alone, we have Johns Creek, the number one city in America to live in. We have the wealthiest Republican district in America, right here in Georgia, in my district. You have the number one business environment for 8 straight years. We have a lot at stake here to continue.
I want to ask you, if Rick Jackson goes on to win, which we certainly support and hope that's the case and feel pretty good about it, what is the relationship that you have as a sitting U.S. congressman with the governor of the state, that you have representation in? What's that relationship like? Is it busy? Is it active?
Well, with Governor Kemp, I feel like he's one of the most accessible politicians at his level in America. I know a lot of very highly ranked politicians, and every time you text him or call him, he gets back to you right away if he can't answer. I think Rick Jackson will be the same kind of guy. Rick has a great grasp of knowledge, incredibly bright, has a ton of experience in healthcare, one of the biggest challenges in America, one of the biggest spending item in federal and state governments now. It's the biggest spending for all Americans. It takes up a fifth of our GDP, and he has a ton of experience, understands where the waste, fraud, and abuse is. I think he'll be great. But accessibility is really important to share ideas, especially when you're dealing with things that involve both the federal and state level politics. And we have a lot of those things going on in Georgia.
Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest right here on the Morning Extra. I have to tell you, I was very concerned. We got a phone call yesterday from a listener that asked us, hey, I voted last month. You're telling me I have to vote again? I spoke with another friend of mine, pretty plugged in, and she was surprised that we had another election. When we talked to the camps, they said, hey, we had 900,000 a month ago. We're expecting somewhere in the range of 700, ended up being about 708,000. How important is it that in an off-year election, we really drive the fact that come November, we got to get out there and vote?
Yeah, it's not surprising that in a runoff of a primary that there's less turnout. We've actually been pretty impressed by our turnout. I was worried about voter suppression, and not because of something nefarious, but just because of burnout and because it's a midterm. But I think Georgia's going to handle business. I think Ossoff is going to be the toughest race of all. He's an incumbent, which gives you certain advantages, and of course he's well-spoken. But his voting record is incredibly flawed, and we need that seat. We need to flip as many seats as possible. We were one of the few pickups we could have. So I hope we can put away all the past arguments and really go to war and win this race. And I think I'm going to do everything I can, and I hope everybody else does too, to really try to bring this home.
What is the angle of attack, do you believe, that Mike Collins will need to take on Jon Ossoff? I mean, just recently, because there's not a lot out there. I don't feel like he's did anything good or bad. He's just kind of there.
He just votes with the Democrats all the time.
Right. So I don't know how you put gloves on him, at least because he's not in the news cycle. But recently he said, I'm locking arms with Keisha Lance Bottoms. I believe that's because neither one of them have money to spend, and the Democrat Party doesn't have a lot of money to spend. So I think that's an angle of attack you can take on a Jon Ossoff. Your judgment's bad because you're locking arms with someone to let the city burn down in the city of Atlanta. If you were running against him or advising, Mike Collins, what would you suggest? What way would you take?
Well, there's a few things. First of all, he is not lacking funds. He is well-funded. There'll be a ton of C4 and Super PAC money spent. He's going to have as much money as anybody, so you don't have to worry about that for him. But I think it's guilt by association. He was a firm supporter of Biden, voted in lockstep with everything the Democrats always wanted. He'll nod his head and clap at the president's State of the Union, but when it comes to his record and what he stands for, and lock arms with Keisha Lance Bottoms, see how that goes for you. I hope they vote. I hope everybody who votes for Keisha and doesn't vote for Keisha votes accordingly with somebody who's going to see the world similarly, and that's Jon Ossoff. I think he is absolutely a wolf in sheep's clothing. Nice enough guy in person, but his voting record is what's going to affect the future of you and your family and Georgia, our ability to create wealth and jobs and prosperity into the future. That's what it's saying. Don't get distracted by personalities. Don't get distracted by rhetoric. Look at the results of what kind of things he can vote for and how that's going to hold us up at the federal level. I think it's very clear what choice needs to be made.
Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest. Congressman, I know that there's some Republicans that get a bad rap for being, rhino Republicans, for, not voting in lockstep all the time with the administration. And I guess that's the part that I think supplanted of attack on Jon Ossoff. Georgia has largely been, for the last several years, a purple state, and yet he votes in lockstep with the Democrats no matter what in a state that's essentially 50-50 in terms of representation.
Yeah, this is the thing that's going to have to be highlighted. I'll be honest with you. His strength is going to be his constituent services. He understands that when there's a need, when there's a hurricane or something like that, his people are all over. They're going to answer the phones. That's his superpower. But when you talk about the future of America, when you talk about passing bills, when you talk about representing Georgia's constituency, he is the worst. But it's going to be a tough fight. I'm telling you, we cannot take this lightly. We have to get involved. And when you're talking to people, too, it's got to be not just people who look like you. I mean, this has got to be and appeal to every single person in Georgia. And remember, we're a minority state. That means when you're talking to somebody who doesn't look like you, it doesn't matter if they're black, Indian, Korean, whoever they are, this is something that benefits all people. When you have more jobs, more wealth, everybody benefits. This can't be about divide and conquer of the people and giving away people's money. Like Margaret Thatcher said, problem is eventually you run out of other people's money, and it's been a failed concept since the beginning, but he is essentially a socialist when it comes to his voting record.
How do you get that? As we talked to Dr. Rich McCormick, how do you reach people to tell them that message? Because we talk about it all the time. So if folks are listening here, they hear us talk about it, they hear you talk about it. What is the wisdom to get that message to everyone in the state of Georgia that it is so important to vote? And here's the reasons it's important to vote. Yes, he'll help you with services like you had mentioned, but you got to get the message, that rest of that message out. How do you do it?
Well, first of all, we can't be nasty. If you're proselytizing, anybody who goes to church and invites somebody to Bible study, people hear me talk about this all the time. If you look at the success versus the failures we had in politics in Georgia, you're talking 16-point divergence between candidates with the same essential politics when it comes to voting. So this is about messaging. When you're messaging, don't go out there and invite people to the party by calling them an idiot. It's not going to work. You can't invite somebody to the Bible study by calling them an idiot. If you want to convert them, stop punching them in the face. Have a conversation about what's good for them, how you love them, how you care about them, not how they're wrong. We got to get over this idea that you're going to actually convince people to vote for you by being mean. You got to be nice. You got to be attractive. Look at the Reagan era where he's winning by 17 points. I think he won by 20 points. I think he had over 75% of the vote for Reagan because he was charming. He painted a picture that was attractive. He wasn't going out there just making fun of people and calling them names. We really have to be appealing. And I think that's what America needs right now is a unity message, knowing what's good for us, what's going to be successful for our children, what's going to carry us into the next generation of success, the American dream. But let's be appealing, not just argumentative.
Well, just as Tug had brought up, and Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest, I'm hoping that the mistakes of the past get done again and get associated to Jon Ossoff. During the last cycle, when we had advertising, when Stacey Abrams was really struggling with young African-American men, she had a whole ad campaign that came out on this radio station that were basically treating them as ignorant. And so it was that insult, that insult to start with of, hey, why don't you come join me, while also insulting them. I'm hoping that that's sort of something that maybe that if Keisha Lance Bottoms makes that sort of mistake, that it ends up also being associated with Jon Ossoff.
Yeah, she's got the harder haul in this race. Her history is so well documented. Her divisiveness, her lack of support for law enforcement, anti-2A. I mean, she is not a good manager. How would you like to see that scaled statewide? Nobody wants to see that. I think she's really in for. I think she's in for doom in her candidacy. I think the harder race is going to be the Senate race. Once again, an incumbent. A midterm, but Keisha's in trouble. She has a record that's nothing but horror.
Hey, Morning Xtra at Xtra 106.3. Dr. Rich McCormick joins us here on the show, and we're a bit envious of you this morning, Dr. McCormick, because
I bet you are.
I saw some pictures of you with maybe, I don't know, Luke Bryan. Saw you with pictures
saw some
with
stuff over the weekend.
Yeah, it was like a little bit of a dagger to heart.
We didn't include Tug and Los.
We just wanted to be there with you. That's all.
How was that entire event from being on the ground for Freedom 250 with the UFC?
You know, I got to tell you, it's truly a blessing. There's some hardships in this job. Nobody feels sorry for me, but gosh, this weekend I was the luckiest man in the world. I really felt that way. 4,000 people, about a large portion of them were actually military guys who kind of basically essentially won the lottery. I was laughing. I saw this PFC walking in front of me. I'm like, this person has no idea how lucky they are. They literally have spent less time in the service than I spent deployed, and they're at the biggest fight, the biggest sporting event in the world history, and I was chuckling because I was like, well, they signed the dotted line, they volunteered, they stepped up. Congratulations, young man or woman. But it was epic, historic, exciting, and what a great card. And every inning was not decided by a judge scorecard. It was decided by the men in the arena, and they put their heart out there. And just what an epic event, surrounded by people who are impacting America every day. And I was just counted myself blessed to be there.
Yeah, that was for me the point where I was so proud of it, that when the coverage began, it talked about how the majority of the people there were servicemen and women, and they had to first off enter in and point out that they were a UFC fan, and then got an opportunity to do that. And so from that standpoint, I was able to swallow the pride and the hurt and let go that I wasn't able to be there. But I as I told Tug, because when we got a chance to host a town hall for you, I kind of felt like I was your gladiator, like you're heavy to deal with some of the crazy leftists. So maybe on the next one,
Yeah, this might be a once in a lifetime, quite frankly.
So certainly,
never been anything like this in the history of mankind. Certainly not. Well, sorry, maybe you could say the gladiatorial games in Rome, but certainly nothing in the United States. Even the closest thing I can think of is Teddy Roosevelt boxing somebody else, or wrestling, or doing archery in the backyard. My goal is to see a rugby game in the White House lawn. I think that would be my ultimate. But just really, really a neat event. It really wasn't a partisan event. I know people are going to think of it that way, and I just think it was a great celebration of athletics and competition and patriotism. Had that flyover. Oh my God!
Oh, so awesome!
Amazing.
Well, but here's the thing: to echo what you've just said, Dr. McCormick, Zach Brown and the Zach Brown Band, who's from here in Georgia, sang the national anthem, did a concert there too. People were giving him a bit of grief, and he was like, this isn't political at all.
The UFC's a meritocracy. It's about fighting.
And on top of that, this is about America. That's what I care about. So you can take all your politics and put them away. I don't care about the politics either way. I care about our men and women in uniform, and I love America. That's why I'm here.
And oh, by the way, talk about meritocracy. That was a phenomenal, one of the best national anthems I've ever heard sang. They did a phenomenal job, and the fights were phenomenal. And to have an American come as an underdog and slug it out after getting that lever punch in the second round, I thought it was over.
I thought he was done.
And that's America, right? Coming back from that's George Washington coming across the Delaware the way he finished that fight. It was crazy cool, just electrifying.
Yeah, and as I told Tug the next morning, because he hung in for a while, but at the point where he went to bed, I was still trying to fight through it after 1 o'clock in the morning. The fact that Gaethje is a guy who's at 37 years old, he's been a great fighter, he was an 8-1 underdog, and yet he's now a champion. Like, it was a perfect way to end the night.
It was phenomenal. And I want to point out, not only him, but the president, 80 years old. He outlasted everybody. He was until 2 in the morning and still going. It was just crazy. And then he got up. He got up, went to the airport, and flew over to France to meet with Macron like 6 hours later. It's crazy. I mean, that's the energy. This guy, his physician is Dr. Barbara Bella, who used to be my boss in the Navy as an ER doc, and he's his physician. And I'm like, man, you lost weight. He said, I can't keep up with this guy. It's just constant energy. And Ronnie Jackson, one of my best friends, who's the former president's physician, same thing. It's like, you think, is he on drugs? Nope. This is just all natural. This guy is a bundle of energy, just keeps on going. He keeps everybody on their toes, and that's why he's getting things done.
Dr. McCormick, we appreciate you taking the time for us this morning. You know you're always welcome on the show. We love having you, love talking to you. Want to make mention quickly, too, that we're going to have it up on our website, the job fair on the 30th. Yes. That way folks can link over, because I know that's near and dear to your heart, making sure that the businesses and prospective employees know about it and are able to take advantage of it as we wrap up here. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Super excited about this, guys. We're going to build on this every year. We're going to do this annually. I want to see people exposed to all the amazing jobs. We have one of the lower employment rates in America, 3.8% here in Georgia. We need to do better. And there's going to be this isn't going to be McDonald's. It's going to be nothing wrong with McDonald's, but we're going to have some good paying jobs. I hope people show up and experience really opportunity.
Yes, sir. You can learn about it on Dr. McCormick's website, as well as at extra1063.com. Hope you have a great day, sir.
You too, sir. Have a blessed one.
Yes, sir. God bless you. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Just got a note. Our friend Greg Dolezal is going to swing by.
Sweet.
Yeah. I mean, the day after.
That's what we were hoping for.
Which is exactly what he did after the primary going into the runoff. And just out of the blue, because he was up late last night. I know you're communicating with that camp.
I reached out to his camp, and they were talking about how busy things were going to be into the night last night. Because really, we didn't have our final results until we got into, once the count finished. We had a decent idea at about 11 o'clock at night, but that was when you started to have the concessions and everything else happening.
So just a little less than an hour from now, 9:25.
And you and I don't try and stay up until midnight, 1 o'clock on a regular basis.
No, well, this week, man.
This week I've done it twice.
Dude, I think I've done it 3 times, which is unheard of. What?
Bunch of rookies.
That's true.
Or just getting old for me, anyway. I feel like
I try and be in bed, tuckered out by like 10:30, and that'd be late for Tug. Tug is like an 8:45 guy.
He's not joking.
It's like he watches Jeopardy, throws on something, has a glass of milk, and he's like, I'm out.
Bobbing in the rocker, just going back.
I knew that one. What is? Then you try to figure.
He has his Luann platter over at Luby's at 4 o'clock, and then goes to bed.
Dude, Los is not lying. It sounds like he's insulting me. He's telling you the God's honest truth.
I don't text him after 10 o'clock.
It's the God's honest truth.
It's always a 50-50. I'll text Tug. If it's 9:30, I'm like,
dude, if it's 9:30, dude, if it's 9:30, it's hit and miss because I don't want to be awake at 9:30. We do things like Andy Griffith's show at our house. It's absurd. Like our family tries to eat dinner at like 5:30.
We're 5:30 dinner family.
Okay, all right. Well, are you in bed by 8:30?
Oh God,
we try to be. It's ridiculous and amazing at the exact. Dude, our friends our friends in the neighborhood. They make fun of us because we sit on our front porch like all the time. Laura will be sitting there reading. And I'll be thumbing through social media and kind of listening to the Braves game over on the fan or whatever. That's our evening. It's not adventurous at all. It's great though. I love it. Wouldn't change it for the world. When we come back on Extra 106.3, JD Vance took a page out of the heavy presentation that Los had when we did the town hall, since you brought that up with Dr. McCormick.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to give you an example of what happened and how JD Vance took our idea and ran with it. Next on Extra.
Hey, good morning. It's Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers. Looking for the right tools, equipment, expert advice for your next project? You'll find all of it over at Howard Brothers. They're the one-stop shop for your outdoor project needs. Locations all across North Georgia. You know the name. You know the people there. They always have a team that's ready to serve. And let Howard Brothers be your go-to for outdoor power equipment, parts, service, and more. As I've told you for years, I buy every single one of my grills. I'm now going on, hopefully the next one will be number 4 from Howard Brothers. Been doing it for over a decade. But hey, it's not just that. It's also all your lawn equipment. Stop by today. Visit howardbrothers.com. The grass is always greener and the projects are always easier when you take care of it with Howard Brothers.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, June 17th. The Atlanta Braves game with the San Francisco Giants was suspended last night due to rain, with the Giants leading 3-2. That game will resume this afternoon. That's going to be a 2 o'clock start as the third inning will start getting underway. Then later tonight, game 2 of the series will get started with the first pitch at 7:15. You can hear all of the action all day long today on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. From the College World Series, Georgia still alive after a 2-0 win last night over the Texas Longhorns, eliminating them. Another elimination game tonight as Georgia faces off once again against Oklahoma. That'll be a 7 o'clock start time. In the earlier matchup today, that'll be a 2 o'clock start time. West Virginia matches up against North Carolina. That's still in the double elimination round. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
This is Tom, the Honest Car Guy. I'm here with Ron, and I'll let Ron tell you a little bit about his experience with us, and not only that, but the differences between a new car dealership and the Honest Car Guy, because there is a difference, with no doc fees and no addendums. It's kind of straightforward. They get to see what we pay for the car, and that's not something you get at a dealership.
Usually we're back and forth, and then you get like 1,400 pages of paper. And in this case, we did it all online. I mean, it was like, okay, I don't mind doing paperwork once I know that this is the deal.
And you got to see the financial advancing the numbers
You
up
have to see all
front
of it,
before you
yeah.
even bought it.
Yeah.
You can make that call, and within hours, we can find you the car you want from your home. I mean, I had a customer call me up and say, hey, I bought a car in my pajamas.
If I'd have had some, I'd have been wearing them.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
You and your buddy. You've been through a lot with each other. The ups and the downs. He's been with you every morning, noon, and night. You've traveled the world together. Heck, he was even with you on your first big date. But have you noticed he's struggling lately? Not performing on the job. He can't even stand up straight anymore. He's wanting to cry out for help, but just doesn't know how. He needs Dr. Deal and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can give him the gift of good posture this year, help him stand proud and become all he was meant to be. Now, take him by the hand, look him in the eye and say, I appreciate you, little fella, and we're going to get you some help. We're going to call 404-777-1911. We're going to visit tbtofga.com. We are going to say goodbye to erectile dysfunction forever. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Online at tbtofga.com.
Hey, this is John Flading from ATL Turfco. We're a family-owned and operated independent local company here in the Atlanta area. We've been in business for over 15 years. We install several different types of artificial grass. One is landscape, which looks like real grass for your lawn. The next one is pet turf. Pet turf is a little bit shorter than landscape, and it's more durable. And the other one is putting greens. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
Georgia Tech baseball is coming off back-to-back ACC regular season championships, and you don't want to miss what's coming to the Flats next year for ACC Coach of the Year James Ramsey and the Yellow Jackets. Back pick over to first is in time. Vaughn Lackey does it again. Secure your spot today at McNeese Baseball Park and Rush Chandler Stadium for the 2027 season by placing a season ticket deposit at ramblinrec.com/tickets. Sting 'em.
Congressman Tim Burchett joins us right here on the Morning Extra.
I said this many times. It's not about flying saucers. It's not about little green men. It's about where the heck of the tens of millions of dollars are going. And if they don't exist, then why are they spending all this money?
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Morning Extra, Tug and Los until 10. We had talked to Dr. RichMcCormick, and we had hosted a town hall for him. And there was a moment where Front Office Los had to kind of go at a guy a little bit.
There was a multitude of moments.
Well, but the one specific one.
The one specific one was when I know these people because I'm married to one. All right, I know the left as well as I know the right. And when the leftist got up in the middle of the town hall and just started talking. And there was a point where I just said, excuse me, sir, do you have a question for the congressman?
And of course the answer was no. And then we move on to another guy. And he was a fella that just came at us and was like, well, you know, Donald Trump's this and you're that. And there's so many examples.
And Tug says, name one.
And that's where J.D. Vance picks up. J.D. Vance took a page out of the Los and Tug playbook when it came to just challenging them, just making them give you the example, and then, of course, they can't.
From The View, when you start getting somebody who starts telling you about, well, there's all these examples, there's immediately, whenever you have this discussion, it's name one.
To this administration that has allowed it to really stigmatize folks of color. And you know how hard it is. You have folks of color in your family.
Sure.
So when you see, you know, things, the Emmett Till stuff coming down, or them doing all kinds of removal of information of black heroes, how does that sit with you?
Well, what exactly are you talking about, Whoopi? Because you just I know Emmett Till was the kid. No, I want to know what she's.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
To your actual point.
So in a lot of the museums, there's so many. Where they're taking down the actual history that happened in this country. Slavery happened. All kinds of stuff happened. And it seems that it has been...
There's so many...
On and on and on.
All kinds of stuff. See, that is the straw man argument without building the straw man. For instance, if I was doing a straw man argument, I would say, Tug, many people have asked, I just created a straw man. Well, she's created...
Not me, many people.
Many people have asked this. People are saying, I'll tell you, people that don't care for that are like coaches. It's like, what are you saying?
We had that happen in our home building with Coach Mark Richt.
This is why when you ask a question, you ask it from yourself. And when you ask a question, you define it according to, here is the example. Whoopi Goldberg
she didn't have the courage, dude.
She tried the classic of many people are saying, there's all of these scenarios. Name one. Because once we name one, now we can have the discussion. That was the part that when I was sitting in that town hall meeting and guys telling me about all these things that are this administration is doing that are unconstitutional. And Tug's like, name one.
Just give me one.
And by the time he tried to say, well, they went to war without getting authorization from Congress. And I'm terrible when it comes to sitting in meetings or a meeting of 300 people because I'm fairly certain that my eye roll, I couldn't hide it. All right? Like, it's long been talked about this company. They're like, dude, you can't contain your emotions from your face.
Yeah, you wear it.
It's like you eye roll freaking management. I'm like, well, I don't mean to, but when there's an eye roll moment, that's what happens. Fortunately, Dr. Rich McCormick at that time brought up, as he said, the last time that you had a president who went to Congress in order to get authorization for war, it was World War II. And that guy had no idea about that.
Of course he didn't.
And the War Powers Act of 1973, which, and in my mind, I'm sitting there getting ready to teach class. And then it's just this realization of, it doesn't matter what you say to him. It doesn't matter.
Because it was never about an actual point. It's how can I get up here and just spill.
I'm going to pontificate.
That's right. Absolutely. And I'm going to make everybody listen and you listen.
Because I'm so important, I'm going to say these. It's like towards the end of that town hall, there was a young woman who got up and talked about how there are people who look like her that are being taken off the streets. And it's an immigration question. And because I'm a rotten bastard, I wanted to go, well, what are you worried about? Are you here legally?
You got no problems.
But I didn't because it wasn't my place.
We did try to hold it between the ditches, maybe more than we would on this show.
We were trying to make sure that it was the congressman who, again, Dr. Rich was being very friendly and very open with these people. As he said, I'm not going to insult you while I'm asking you to come to church. I'm not going to insult you while asking you to be part of this circle. That's my job.
That's right. We get to do it.
And business is good.
And I think he likes that about us. I think he likes that about us.
I told him, I was your gladiator. You didn't have to get your hands dirty. I was ready to call. Yeah. Well, let the brown guy ask you, are you here legally? Because I am, and I'm not concerned about anything. My family's been in this country for a century.
Yeah, that's right.
We're over that.
Well, but the problem is you can't be the brown guy because you're a white guy.
Yeah, in their
eyes. No, that's right.
As it's always counted up there. Anyone who's not black is then all white.
No doubt about it. And that's what you are in their eyes. Let's talk about the election results next on Extra and the surprises that took place.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Just a little travelogue here. After about 2.5 weeks in 100-degree plus temperatures, Don and I have now made our way to the heart of the Rocky Mountains, where the low tonight will be 38, the high tomorrow 72. The Bortz bus has heated floors, We're going to love it. Okay, on to more important things. I saw an interview on television. I can't tell you who was doing the interviewing, who, what, where, why, when, all of that, but he was talking to college graduates about what they were going to do with their degrees. Now, both of these graduates had 5-figure student loans. One of them had a student loan of nearly $80,000 and no job to pay for it. What did she study in school? Latin studies. She appeared to be a Latino herself, so okay, I guess goes with the territory. He asked her what she was going to do for a living. What kind of job was she now qualified for? And all she could say was, I'm going to help people understand their Latin heritage. Oh, really? And how much are they going to pay you for that? You could fix their garbage disposal and make a lot more money. Well, the other one, the other female student with 5 figures of student debt and a degree in what? Shakespeare. He asked her the question, how are you going to earn money? What kind of job are you going to have? All he could get out of her was, well, she was doomed. She's going to be waiting tables. Maybe she could use some Shakespeare. Between these fries, your burger lies. These girls will be demanding fairness. And the only thing that's fair to them is for them to have some of your money to pay their student loans. Ready to freeze my butt off in the Rockies? Neil Bortz, Extra, 106.3.
A warning to Iran ahead of a deal signing Friday. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's a memorandum of understanding, and if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
President Trump at the G7 summit this morning again touts the deal will prevent Iran from building nuclear weapons, setting up more negotiations, while also reopening the Strait of Hormuz fully for oil and other shipping.
The stock market has gone through the roof, and oil has come tumbling down.
Fox's Peter Ducey reports from the summit.
Here in France, President Trump is speaking directly to the many, many critics of this memorandum of understanding, basically telling them that he had to do something to stop the economic damage.
The strait would never open because they don't like floating billion-dollar ships up and down a strait when there are rockets flying over them and mines all over the place.
And the biggest issue that people seem to have with this Iran agreement is giving them access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. He won't be handing the regime a big check or even a dime.
Another potential conflict for the deal and concern, Iran's demand Israel stop attacking Iran-based and backed Hezbollah militants.
There are reports out of southern Lebanon of renewed Israeli airstrikes against Hezbollah. This is an important point to remember because just last night, the military command in Iran threatened to bomb Israel if they continue strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. A fiery crash late last night on a highway in Laredo, Texas. A small plane came down on the road hitting a car. One of the 6 people on the flight was killed, but 5 others were rescued.
Dramatic video shows bystanders and first responders rushing to help passengers out as flames tear through this aircraft. They propped open the door and 2 men were seen climbing out. The victims were then rushed to the hospital.
Fox's Carly Shimkus. An update to the economy. We shot more last month. Retail sales rose more than expected from April, up 0.9%. America's listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
streaming across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app. This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
If you change your mind, take a chance. I'm the first in line. Take a chance. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me.
Come on with the ABBA this morning. Dude, everybody's been up late, whether watching election results, watching the Georgia Bulldogs, watching the Braves baseball, which got
out there waiting for it to stop raining.
And it never, ever did. Apparently, they never put the tarp on the field. And that's what was the big problem.
I know that when they had the issue as they were finishing up the second inning, and they're throwing all of the treatment on the ground. By the way, it's a Morning Extra Tug and Los.
Yes,
hey,
that.
that's a good one. We won our primary.
That's right, we did.
We're running for mornings. We get to continue on into the fall.
That's right.
So they're putting basically out the kitty litter, and they're trying to get everything dried up. And you're like, well, why don't you bring the tarp out?
Seems like a good idea.
And it never really happened.
It's almost like they felt like, and I don't know this, but it seemed like they thought it was just going to be something quick and keep moving, and then it just stopped. Which is not that uncommon around here.
For some reason, and I know that we've had meteorologists and other experts that have explained the atmospheric conditions around here. Because when they opened up the ballpark, remember how it only seemed to rain here, but it wouldn't rain the rest of the city?
Yes.
Well, apparently we're just in an area where stuff stalls out.
And humidity has to have something to do with it, I would imagine. Just heavy air, keeps that stuff from moving a whole bunch.
It's been explained to me. I didn't listen to that portion of it.
Yeah.
I didn't take the notes I probably should have.
Yeah, well, but neither did I. But it just makes sense to me that would be the case, and maybe one day we'll figure it out. But they were like, man, I think we're good.
I would like to be learned on this topic, but I am not learned on this topic.
Maybe one day. David Shanley's got some time. He's retired.
It's true.
Maybe he could take us to meteorology school.
Friend of show, friend of station.
That's right. He's a good man. We like him a whole bunch. Let's get to the first thing to know this morning on Extra 106.3.
Way out west, there's a show, the Morning Extra, Tug so bold, deep in the story, breaking news that's bold.
Need to start out by saying we got a note from Greg Dolezal, who won in the runoff to face off against the Democrat in the lieutenant governor's race. He reached out to us this morning and said, hey, man, can I swing in there? We thought, because Los, you'd been communicating with his camp, that it was good. Late night, man, it's just tough to get up. Because that's exactly what the Rick Jackson camp had said. Late night, we're going to get in there soon. This is why I believe Greg won. This exact reason.
He has been on an all-out assault in terms of getting information out there, talking about some of the challenges that Georgia has. And let's face it, also, he was the one person that was bringing up two different types of judicial systems with the rise of Sharia law. Now, as the consultancy class, they'd be like, well, you can't do that. Don't bring that up. It's like, no, that's resonating with people that are seeing what is going on in some of their suburban communities.
And we have folks that are of a different political persuasion that call in to the show and say, I don't agree with y'all on a lot. I agree with y'all on this. This makes me nervous. I'm not comfortable with this. And I think that's why it cut through so good. And that his just
his social media and
media
the way he got his name out there, I think
absolutely
was excellent.
Right. And then showing up the next day, same thing he did. If you recall, he reached out and he showed up the day after the primary when we were going to the runoff. He came in, spoke to you, asking for your vote immediately. Then his social media game was top notch. And then today, day after he wins, looking toward the general, he's coming in to speak to you again. And just so you know, that's the important thing.
And let's also bring up in terms of the governor's race, because as the more data we get, we see how a lot of this played out. First off, Rick Jackson did very well in the early vote. And most notably, and this was part of the reason why you had both candidates that were on Extra on a regular basis, where each one of them spent nearly 2 hours with us over the span of several weeks. Where they would just come sit in the chair and come talk. The Metro GOP voter was huge for both of them, and Rick Jackson got a larger amount. Burt Jones did obviously very well when you were talking about South and North Georgia. The GOP voter in the city that is listening to this program and is voting in these areas, that was really the big difference for Rick Jackson.
And I don't know if you know this, but this radio station really covers Metro Atlanta very well. I'm not saying we deserve credit for it.
Just saying, if you're going to try and reach somebody, that was what was going on.
You hear that, the big voice guy, the big station guy saying, if you want to win, it runs through Extra 106.3. That is really proven itself to be the truth. I want to get into that conversation about Rick Jackson because I think Burt Jones is a terrific dude. I know. Either if it would have gone either way, I would have been satisfied with the candidates because I think Burt Jones is a terrific dude. I think he's been a great lieutenant governor. And now that it's gone the other way, I feel the exact same thing and way about Rick Jackson.
I made the point yesterday. It still remains true. I said there was not one issue that I considered either person to be radioactive when it came to I couldn't possibly vote for that person. I was like, I have no problem voting for either one. I have no problem advocating for either one. I was I thought, and I posted last night, I was like, they came through. We had a lot of conversations off the air. Both came across to me as good dudes.
That's exactly right. And you can find Los at Front Office Los. Find me at Tug Coward, at Extra 1063, 404-741-1230. Charles is on the phone. Gonna pull the lever for the R, but has some questions about Rick. What are your questions there, Charles?
Well, I got to see Rick Jackson speak at the at Cartersville. I think it was in May, and very compelling story. Very well-spoken individual. Obviously, very successful and single-minded. My concern is coming from my background. I have a lot of concerns with anybody who's steeped in the medical industry. And when I queried him on his position on freedom of medical choice, meaning if I'm a parent and I don't want my kid to receive 82 vaccines before he's 18 years old, I know you're a governor, or you would be, you don't have power over that necessarily, but what's your position on that? And he gave me the right answer, but then had to follow up with, well, I had to get the COVID vaccine because my wife had cancer. God bless her. I'm happy she got through it. But you have the data. The COVID vaccine did jack squat, and Jack left town. Why are you bringing that up to talk about how wonderful things are? That vaccine didn't do anything. Why are you telling me you had to get it when you know, or should know, with all the data we have, you risked your life basically for nothing? But you had to bring that up. Again, I find that to be disconcerting. What does that mean about him when it comes to medical freedoms coming down the road? And again, I know that he did well and he's a great guy from that point of view. My background, I have a lot of trouble or a lot of suspicions when it comes to people who are steeped in the medical industry.
Gotcha.
I'll let you guys go.
Yeah, thank you,
for
Charles.
the call, Charles. I think that you have, and Charles is kindred spirit with me on this one. And I think Donald Trump learned this pretty quickly. Don't talk about that vaccine. Don't talk about Operation Warp Speed. That is not something that these voters are interested in. And a large amount of us were vilified for even saying, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. And we were vilified by not just the President of the United States and Joe Biden. Many of us were vilified by the military, by our companies, by our state. It's not even a soft spot. It's an anger spot.
Absolutely right.
And I think as you campaign, and I'll just say this, the Rick Jackson that we had initially, by the time he came through the second time, there was a level of comfort. And I had said this to Tug. I go, he's gotten the game down. Like early on, it was like, here's what I'm going to say, but this is why I'm going to put it out there. And that would have been, for instance, like as you talked about in May, by the time we got further into this process, he was a lot sharper in what to get into and what to avoid, in my opinion.
So I will, and I'm not defending him at all, but I'll just tell you my experience. And this was when the vaccine was you had to have some sort of comorbidity or some sort of issue to get it early, right? Was in the early rollout before they made it to the general population, to everybody. My son has asthma, and when he gets sick, dude, he goes to the hospital. It's that kind of reaction that he has. and they said, okay, you can get the vaccine for your son and your family early before it gets out. We knew nothing about it, and I blindly trusted. I made the mistake, and I freely admit that. Learning what I learned about it later, I was like, oh my God, it's probably worse that we did this, but I didn't know at the time. I just knew if my son got ill with something like that, it could kill him. We were scared to death, and there was nobody in the media, nobody in the government saying, hey, you might want to hold up, because this was before it got out. This was before the general rollout, and we took it. We took the first round, me and my wife and my son, because we were terrified of what was coming. We didn't know. I don't know where Rick was in the process. Was it early like us, when we had no information, which doesn't give us a pass? We were blindly led to it and didn't. We acted on our fear.
Well, and there was a use of fear that was going on.
Absolutely. And it was before the news ever picked it up.
And so you had scenarios depending on what hospital, what care, what level, just as Charles was bringing up from his background, his experience in it, and he probably remembers.
Yeah.
You would have restricted access. So let's just say, for instance, hypothetically, if you do have somebody who's dealing with cancer, yet you're being told you can't accompany them, you haven't been vaccinated. And I think that's one of the legitimate concerns, just as you're saying, like, well, I don't want to suddenly, if my kid gets sick, that I will not be able to be there or have the same level of access just because of what crazy rules you're using against me.
And when he gets a cold, I mean, just a regular cold, his asthma acts up, and, dude, he ends up in the hospital. I've seen it. He's 20, almost 22 now. And I've seen it since he was an infant. We've been through it 1,000 times. So you start throwing, hey, this is a respiratory disease. So, again, Charles, I'm not defending what he did or said at all. I don't know where he was, like, when that all happened. Like Los is saying, they scared you to death. And I already knew what was going on with my own son. I was scared to death. I don't know that that's what Rick did, but if it were, I understand that.
So I used to live right around the corner from Rick Jackson.
We did not take any more, however. As soon as we learned, as soon as we figured it out, and it wasn't very long.
Tug started listening to his friend Los.
It was like, oh my God.
Like,
and then started looking into it.
It's like, stop doing this, my man.
Yeah. And we never went a step further, and we're so glad we didn't. So but you're living around the corner from Rick.
So he would have a Christmas party every year. And it was for his company employees, and here's what they would do. And it was awesome because they would have these amazing decorations, and here's what it would light up the whole street, and it was a great event. And then he didn't have it. We're like, what happened? I was like, did they move? No, they didn't move. They still live in the same place. Like, why are they not doing it? I asked him about that off the air. That was the first time he discussed. My wife got a bout of cancer, and then we had to kind of keep her isolated and keep her away from as many germs because of the treatment she was seeking. And so
I get it.
And that was that moment of going, oh, okay. And so I'm glad he's now talked about it, out in the open. But this was early on in the process when he hadn't discussed any of that. And so that's the sort of stuff that I talk about when we've gotten a chance to meet with these people and talk to them offline and off air, and we start to get more of the background. It goes beyond just the normal, this guy stands for this, and this guy stands for the other, and this one must be the bad guy. It's like we take in everything as good guy, bad guy. And in some cases, well, I would ask this. If you have decided that you're going to mudsling, and let's face it, that was a lot of what was going on with the campaign.
Shoot, yeah, it was.
If you're doing it in the interest of, hey, if I end up being the governor, here's what I can do in order to improve everybody's lives. I was like, in your mind, you're like, this is fine.
Yeah.
It ain't for when you're Burt Jones.
No, that's right. Yeah. Dude,
when you're having to catch all that.
That's exactly right. And when Burt was in, too, that's another thing, and I'm glad you brought that up. Burt was genuinely hurt by that stuff.
By some of that stuff.
You could see it. The last time, what was it, Tuesday, when he called in? Yesterday, when he called in, he still talked about it. That was very personal to him.
It's the reason why he didn't endorse last night, in my opinion. And
I don't know that it happens.
Well, that's what I had brought up yesterday when we talked about if you have every Republican fall in line. Now, I believe they will, but I certainly don't fault Burt Jones if he doesn't.
I understand.
That became a really nasty race at a level that nastiness normally doesn't show up like that until you get to a general election.
I'm telling you, he brought it up so much. And we talked about it and laughed about it, some of it. I believe that was so personal for him that it became part of his discussion pretty much every time we talked to him. And I'm not faulting him for that at all. I would have probably done the same thing. I want to defend my honor. I want to defend my family's honor. I want to defend our business, the way we make our living. There's a reason when Donald Trump Jr. said, there's a lot of mudslinging. This has been a tough battle.
Yeah.
It was.
You don't see that typically until we get into the fall. And when you're getting it, it's from your Democrat opponent. It's not typically from within your own party. And so I get it. Like that thing got pretty nasty. And so, again, to chat with both of these people the way that we have.
And both good dudes, man.
They both came across as good. Again, Burt Jones is going to be like, hey, you're a good dude.
Yeah, and understandably.
And understandably. I'm like 100% with you on that. But at the same time, there was enough discussion that we had about topics, family, background, that it went beyond just what they were presenting in public. It's like we got a chance to ask some questions to be able to say, yeah, you would feel comfortable pulling the lever for that person once we get into a general election.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it was a bit surprising for people the way it turned out. It was surprising for me the way it turned out, especially with the betting markets setting the way. I mean, it was 70-30.
Yeah, 70-30 as of yesterday.
I don't know. Like, betting so much better. I know nothing because I don't gamble. Not because I'm opposed to it. I just don't do it. I don't have enough money to. But when we were seeing that, I was like, wow, man, that doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right. I thought it was going to be much closer than the betting market.
I firmly believe because of the turnout and the numbers of what it was, it changed the game. It's like, as I likened it to, it's like playing a 27-out baseball game, but then suddenly it's a 20-out or a 17-out baseball game. It's like the numbers changed in the equation, and so the betting market's got it wrong on that one.
I want to go to Robbie really, really quick before we take this break. And Greg Dolas, it's just a message. Okay. Robbie said Rick won because of the ad campaign. And that may be the truth.
That's the money.
I mean,
it was huge.
A huge amount of money. Burt Jones on this show multiple times said there was $200 million spent on basically attacking him. That's what he talked about. And
I think the numbers are closer to, now he would know it more so than I would, because in their filings, at one point, Rick Jackson in the last quarter took out another $30 million strictly to attack Burt Jones.
Yeah.
So talk about himself a little bit, attack Burt. And what did we say at the end? We said a lot of it in the final week or two was going to be about likability. And what did Rick Jackson do with his money in his ad campaign? He turned it into about his grandchildren and how they treat him and how they look at him.
When he came in that day, I told him, because I'd seen it, and they hadn't even released it all yet. It was just on his social media page. It hadn't gotten to TV quite yet. And I said, I saw it. That's a genius campaign, because it was just his grandchildren going, Grandpa, in your ads, you seem mean. And you're not mean.
Humanized him.
And it totally. Remember, they put him in the goofy shirt, the dog's in it. And to the rest of Robbie's message, that ad campaign could have put Kamala Harris in the White House, he said. That's how successful it was in Robbie's mind.
She had $2 billion.
Right.
I mean, you can accomplish a whole lot. You almost fooled America to at least the tune of 71 million voters that she was competent and likable.
No doubt.
And then she talked.
Oh, my goodness.
If you could keep her from talking for 3 months, maybe.
Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. Greg Dolezal just texted in and said, I'm trying to get there. Traffic is terrible. I'm stuck on the interstate. Can I call? Of course, the answer is yes.
100%.
Greg Dolezal next on the Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3.
Morning Xtra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and the Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Xtra 106.3.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Commuting every day? Well, the 2026 Toyota Camry is now all hybrid, which means for you up to 53 miles per gallon in the city. An easy way to cut those fuel stops without giving up comfort. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty, unlimited time, and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. And we're voted Best of COP for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, and Best Service Center for well-qualified buyers. 6.49% APR for 72 months is available on the new 2026 Camry hybrid through June 30th. Non-Toyota owners may qualify for a $1,000 Camry Conquest bonus cash, no trade-in required. Remember, visiting us on Cobb Parkway South means you're going to get the best deal possible. We're just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota since 1975. We've been here and we'll be here for you.
6.49% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers are qualified. $1,000 Conquest for eligible current non-Toyota owners. Must finance and lease through Southeast Toyota Finance. No trade required. And 6/30/2026. See dealer for details. All prices exclude tax, tag, title, and include $699 dock fee and $257 electronic tag fee.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Wednesday, June 17th, and here are your headlines. Georgia Republicans have settled several major statewide runoff races. Billionaire healthcare executive Rick Jackson winning the GOP nomination for governor, defeating current Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones despite Jones having President Trump's endorsement. In the Senate race, Congressman Mike Collins won the Republican nomination, will face Democratic Senator John Ossoff in November. Republicans also nominated Greg Dolezal for Lieutenant Governor and Tim Fleming for Secretary of State. Georgia is expanding its literacy efforts after state officials reported that 62% of third graders are not reading proficiently. A new statewide initiative places literacy coaches in every public elementary school and establishes a unified approach to reading instruction. Education leaders say the changes are designed to improve long-term reading outcomes, though results will take time. And finally, the Cobb County School District has filed a lawsuit against the Cobb County Board of Commissioners over millions of dollars in tax collection fees. School leaders say the county plans to increase the fee more than $13 million this year to over $20 million next year. Money they argue would otherwise support teachers, classroom instruction, and other student programs. Coming up next, Greg Dolezal will join Tug and Los after his big win last night in Lieutenant Governor's race in the GOP. Today's weather will be partly cloudy with a high of 86 and a low of 75. The Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Colbert.
Tug and Los until 10. Want to send congratulations out to Greg Dolezal, who joins us here on the Morning Extra. He is the Republican candidate for Lieutenant Governor. Greg, good morning. How are you, man? Congratulations.
Fellas, thank you so much. I got to come on the show the day after a win. It's a tradition now. Thank y'all for having me on.
I love being able to do it. Tell us about last night as we're getting the results in. I know I got a chance to touch base with your camp, but as we got into a little bit of those later hours, I imagine it had to be a little bit of a sigh of relief and then helmet right back on the next day.
Yeah, it's wild, man. You walk into these things, and I've told you guys this. I'm an introvert, so you walk into this, quote, watch party. It's like, am I going to win or am I going to lose? And if I lose, I do not want to be around anybody. And if I win, obviously, I want to be able to celebrate with friends. So it's a weird thing, man. I mean, I walked in to our event. My son, who's 12 years old, had his computer fired up. He was already tracking, and we were ahead. And we knew really early. I think we probably knew, honestly, by about 8:15 that we were in really, really good shape. And so we were encouraged. About 9:30, decision desk called it. We went down, thanked our supporters, prayed with our team. Well, the first thing I did actually was pray with my family. And then John Kennedy called. He and I had a great conversation. John is a class act and a friend, and committed to helping us get the party across the finish line in November, and I was grateful for that. And then we were able to walk around and thank everybody some more.
Gosh, man, I love it. Lieutenant Governor he's going to be your next Lieutenant Governor here in the state of Georgia. Greg Dolezal on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. There's so many reasons that I believe that you won the race and that you'll go on to be Lieutenant Governor. Just your ability to attack the things that need to be discussed without fear. Certainly that's it. I believe your mastery of media, whether coming on this show or using AI to create ads that go right along with the messaging and the issues that you're talking about, I think those are what delivered you that victory. Do you see it that way?
I do. In a broader sense, Tug, I think it's the ability to talk about the issues that people are talking about in a way that you talk about it sitting at a bar or sitting at a kitchen table or wherever you'd be having a conversation. We're just normal Georgians. I think that far too often those of us that get in this political game get caught up in political speak. We don't know how to just be normal. And meanwhile, you got a whole generation of people that can't afford to buy a home. You've got a generation of senior citizens who are getting crushed by property taxes. And then everyone in the middle feels like the American dream is on life support. And meanwhile, politicians are talking about who knows what. And so we cut through that. But yeah, man, we had fun with the AI videos, and honestly, we were a little ginger with them because I'm running against my friends. But now that this is kind of the main event, you can look for us to ramp up the creativity in this campaign.
Greg Dolezal is our guest. He's going to be running for lieutenant governor and is the Republican representative after getting the win last night. Let's talk about that, because now it now turns into you're going to face a Democrat, actually, rather than somebody that you've had experience with in terms of from your own party. Are you now having to look at it and basically say, hey, my political instincts to this point have gotten me this far. Let me trust on those as we run through November?
Yes, I told Natalie, my wife, this morning, I said, babe, we took a huge bet on ourselves. Nobody believed in this, that we could get this far. And God was faithful, and we did get this far. But yes, I do think that the connection that we have with the people is real. I think that we've built a real base. I think we build on that. Guys, Josh McClaurin, who I'm running against, I'll see him today. I'll shake his hand. He's a friend of mine. He is a Yale law graduate. He is very intelligent, but he is very far left. But he's going to be a formidable opponent. He's talented, and I'll tell you the crazy story about him that most people don't know. Do you guys remember when J.D. Vance's texts about President Trump from when he was in law school got leaked?
Yes.
And they were leaked by his law school roommate, who was Josh McClaurin.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so there's like this crazy Georgia connection to the J.D. Vance text leaking story. And it's a guy who's currently in the Georgia State Senate named Josh McClaurin, who went to Yale Law School and was roommates with J.D. And it's wild. So I joke with Josh that I'll talk to him about anything in person, but I'm careful about what I text him because you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, and Rick Jackson obviously is going to be our nominee at the top of the ticket for governor. I'm really gutted for my friend Burt Jones. I thought he ran a phenomenal campaign. I want to be there at the Capitol this morning when he gets there because we've got a special session that starts today. And I just want to be able to look him in the eye and tell him he ran a great race. But Rick is going to be the standard bearer for the top of the ticket on the statewide stuff, and he's going against a failed mayor, probably the worst mayor in the history of Atlanta, who would be a very, very ineffective and inept governor. City Hall was a mess when Keisha was mayor, and we do not need the state to be a mess with her as our governor.
Do you think I'm underestimating, or maybe we or listeners, whomever, are underestimating what Keisha is capable of in a campaign?
Yes, because Keisha is a lot more warm and affable than Stacey Abrams was. Stacey had a hard time connecting with people, Keisha, she just has a much greater natural ability to connect with people. And you got to remember, Governor Kemp barely eked out a win over Stacey Abrams back in 2018. And so we're kind of returning to that starting point again of trying to figure out what the natural Republican-Democrat split is in Georgia 8 years later. We don't know what that is, because you can't look at the Trump election in 24 for that either, because Trump he's a juggernaut. He's a force of his own, pulls a lot of voters over to the Republican side that may not vote for Republican if Trump is not on the ballot. And frankly, Trump has the ability to rally a base of blue-collar Republicans out that may be otherwise tempted to sit it out. So this is going to be all hands on deck. But yes, I would not underestimate Keisha. We all know how horrible she was. But you got to remember, guys, she's going to have a complicit media who is not going to report on, her sitting back and watching the city burn down, her putting the no-chase order on police, her allowing the autonomous zone to get set up at the Wendy's after the Rayshard Brooks shooting, which ultimately led to the murder of an 8-year-old girl, Secoria Turner. The media is not going to talk about any of that. And so we're going to have to tell that story. And you guys, I know, are going to be a big part in helping us do that as well.
Greg Dolezal is our guest. I want to talk about your upcoming opponent, because one of the primary things that he pushes on his website is the repeal of the heartbeat ban, the heartbeat bill, that he wants to do away with that in the idea of reproductive rights. And I think when you get into these areas, Greg, and you start talking about the history of even Roe versus Wade, there was a decided notion from the Supreme Court that both the state and the mother had an interest in the child. It wasn't until we got to Planned Parenthood in the 90s where that completely went out the window. I think that's just one of those things that when you explain that to people, that makes your opponent very far left to basically want to go back to the standard of Planned Parenthood from the 90s.
Yes, and what I don't know how Josh would answer the question of what would you support in terms of abortion restriction. Because if you're a Josh McLaurin and you don't want to go with the heartbeat bill, you've got to draw the line somewhere else. Do you draw it at 12 weeks? Do you draw it at 20 weeks? My guess would be that he's not willing to answer that question, which would place him amongst the most radical Democrats who would say that they believe in late-term abortion. And so merely repealing the heartbeat bill, while that's a talking point on the website, I want to know what his stance is on that issue. I don't, frankly, know what it is. But I do know that when I carried the Riley Gaines Act through the state Senate 2 years ago, it was actually last year, I'm losing track of time. When I wrote the Riley Gaines Act, Josh was an outspoken opponent against preventing male participation in female sport. And he voted against that bill. And so he voted against the bill to ban taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries for prison inmates. I've talked about this on your guys' show. And you got to say it slow because it sounds so crazy. It's taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries for prison inmates. And we tried to say that we weren't going to spend taxpayer dollars on that, and Josh voted against us. So Josh has taken some very radical positions. We'll highlight those. But Los, you stumbled on one of those, I'm sure, is among the more radical, which is his position on life.
And then the endorsements that he got a day ago from Stacey Abrams that you brought up, someone that is not very popular in the state of Georgia for among most people.
Where's the money, Stacey?
Yeah, where's all the money at? We would like to know where that $2 billion is. And then Raphael Warnock, a guy that, man, I've never seen a reverend, and I want to speak in turn here, but I've never seen a reverend talk the way that man talks.
Yeah, I mean, Senator Warnock, another Democrat pastor who is pro-abortion, and but the best thing that I love about Senator Warnock is that he has allowed, under his watch, someone to be registered to vote illegally using his church address, which is an illegal place to register to vote, and that person is still on the Fulton County voter rolls. But another guy who voted against keeping men out of women's sports. You've got to go back to what these guys really believe. They want to defund the police. They do not believe in free market capitalism. They want to have a centralized control mechanism of the means of production. And so much of my campaign has been about the founding principles of this country, because I believe that they are the soil in which the seeds were planted that has given rise to the greatest period of human flourishing in the history of mankind. And that is not a coincidence. And those guys just don't fundamentally believe that, and that will be the divide in this race.
Greg Dolezal is our guest running on the Republican side for lieutenant governor. He will face off with his opponent as we get into November. Let me bring this up because we are having a special session today. It almost seems like it's kind of gotten forgotten because of how big the election was last night. What are you looking to see that's going to happen at the state capitol? What direction is this going? Because this is one of those that even MS Now, as you sit in traffic, has been focused on the Georgia special session and what's going to go on.
There's really two things that I know for sure that are on the docket of the things we're able to deal with, and one of those is redistricting. So we were forced by Judge Jones back in 2021, I believe, to draw race-based maps. And what that meant is we had to draw congressional districts, state house districts, and state senate districts only based on the race of the people in those districts. The Supreme Court came back and said that's not what we do in America. That is unconstitutional. And so now we, at some point in time, have to redraw our maps. And Governor Kemp called a special session, said we're going to redraw those maps for the 2028 election. And that is what we are able to contemplate today, starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The other piece is the election mess that we're in terms of voting equipment. We are required by state law, Senate Bill 189, that passed 2 years ago, to get rid of the QR code-based voting system. And right now there is not a plan as to how we're going to do that, so we have to go in and come up with that plan. We should have done it way sooner. It didn't happen, but ultimately the goal for me is to get to a hand-marked paper ballot, get rid of the Dominion machines, get Georgians voting the same way that 2/3 of Americans vote, which is on a hand-marked paper ballot.
And that's something that Rick Jackson actually brought up on the show a bunch of times.
Talked about the software issues.
Absolutely. And the fact that these voting machines are like DOS-based voting machines. It's absurd. It's crazy. And I know that's a focus of his, and I know it's a focus of yours. And I know it's a focus of the people listening to you right now, Greg. They're concerned about it, too, as they should be.
Yes, there's a lot of questions coming out of 2020 about these machines. The people have spoken very clearly. Frankly, guys, Democrats and Republicans want to go to hand-marked paper ballots. The only question is, what exactly does that look like, and when exactly does that happen? And so that's what we're going to kind of navigate through. I want to do it as soon as possible. I passed a bill earlier this year that I wrote, passed out of the Senate. It did not get out of the House, to do that for the November election. Because, guys, not only is it the fact that the software is antiquated, the software has 9 known vulnerabilities, meaning the Department of Homeland Security at the federal level has identified 9 ways in which a bad actor could hack our equipment. And we have refused to update the software. We're still running the same software we've been running ever since we implemented the machines. No other state in America is running Dominion machines statewide using that version of the software. And so it's frankly absurd that we're in the position that we're in, but hopefully we get it rectified starting today.
Absolutely right. Greg, congratulations again. We look forward to getting you into the studio, and man, you're not going to have a team pulling for you harder than we will be here on Extra.
You guys have been such great friends. I really enjoyed the time that we had in Alpharetta last week. That was probably one of my favorite campaign events of the whole cycle. Let's do that. Let's do that one again sometime. Let's take it on the road and do it somewhere else next time.
Road trip. Let's go.
Say hey to the family.
Yes, sir. Go get it done, Greg. Thank you.
Thank you, fellas.
Yes, sir.
There he goes. Greg Dolezal.
A+ dude, man.
Now, I wasn't going to bring this up with him, but I think it's important. His opponent violates one of the primary rules. White guy with a beard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And a bald head.
Yeah. Not to be trusted.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Like, for instance, black guy with a beard, full trust, 100%.
Yeah, Am I getting too close?
No. I mean, that's different.
No, that's
different
full.
Look,
that's full.
That's a real beard.
No, that's a full beard for sure. Mine's pure laziness. It'll be gone by Monday.
If you grow it out, though.
No, I don't want to. I don't lose my trust.
I know that people. Bearded dudes, that's become a big deal.
I know.
And as a guy who can't grow facial hair, I will point out that I know.
Doesn't get much better when it's not.
You just more.
Tried to
You just more
disparage, man.
when you go with the Mark Kelly look.
Yeah.
You're a little more trustworthy. When you're wearing the beard without any hair, I don't know.
Full beard example, if you want one, Graham Plattner.
Dude.
That guy looks like a walrus.
He does. He looks just like a walrus. That's exactly right.
It's not like you and JD Vance have the, hey, it's here, but it's not like.
It's not prominent.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't want it to be. Like, I trim it down. Usually it's stubble on Monday, and then by this time, get later in the week, it's kind of filled in a little bit. Now it'll be stubble again by Monday.
Now, there is an exception here. The Amish.
Oh, yeah, but they're good folks.
Full trust.
Yeah. Dude,
100%.
I've seen those people build a barn in a day.
Like you need some nice furniture?
Dude.
You want somebody to build a deck? Amish.
Dude, I think.
Come on out.
Everybody always made fun of the Amish. I remember people would make, they're living in,
They know what they're doing.
They're living in yesteryear. They know what they're doing, Bryce. You're exactly right. They had it right from the beginning. They've gotten it all right.
Now just don't leave.
No, absolutely not. All right, when we come back, we talked about this a little bit earlier.
This show turns weird ways.
Yeah, it does.
As soon as we get done with legitimate politicians who are trying to do big things for the state, then we turn it into, and now back to 8-year-old programming.
It's a guy with the beard.
I can't wait to talk about guys with beards.
White guy with a beard, you can't trust him. Black guy with a beard, you can.
100% trust.
White
guy with a beard.
White guy with a beard. It's questionable. It is questionable. Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. We talked about this earlier. When Los calls it the pretzel moment, but I want you to hear the pretzel moment happening in real time. Like a leftist in the pretzel moment trying to talk herself through it to not be pretzeled anymore. It's glorious, and you must hear it next on the Morning Xtra.
Xtra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, June 17th. The Atlanta Braves game with the San Francisco Giants was suspended last night due to rain, with the Giants leading 3-2. That game will resume this afternoon. That's going to be a 2 o'clock start as the third inning will start getting underway. Then later tonight, game 2 of the series will get started with the first pitch at 7:15. You can hear all of the action all day long today on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. From the College World Series, Georgia still alive after a 2-0 win last night over the Texas Longhorns, eliminating them. Another elimination game tonight as Georgia faces off once again against Oklahoma. That'll be a 7 o'clock start time. In the earlier matchup today, that'll be a 2 o'clock start time. West Virginia matches up against North Carolina. That's still in the double elimination round. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
What a season. The boys are giving us plenty to celebrate, but if you've celebrated a little too hard after a win and ended up in jail, you need A Second Chance bail bonds. We handle bonds from the stadium to the city, and in most cases, we can have you or your loved one out in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. More than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4 or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Summer is here, and it's time to enjoy your outdoor oasis as a family. Don't know where to begin? At Stovall & Company, we have everything you need to make your landscaping dreams come true. From premium mulch and topsoil to a wide variety of plants, trees, shrubs, and annuals, Stovall has it all. Check us out at StovallInc.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Your yard. It stresses you out between the watering, the seeding, the weeding, and mowing. And no matter what you do, you're never satisfied. Have you thought about artificial turf? It's low maintenance, it's pet friendly, and it looks amazing all year round. Those in the know use ATL Turf Go. ATL Turf Go is Atlanta's top choice for artificial grass installation. Let them build you a backyard of your dreams with a custom golf or putting green, outdoor kitchen or pool deck. They even specialize in custom concrete and stonework. They handle everything from design and grading to construction and drainage solutions. So whether it's residential lawns or recreational sports fields, ATL Turf Co. can build you a stress-free space you'll love. So say goodbye to mowing, maintenance, and your wasted weekends. Learn more and schedule your free in-home consultation today. Call ATL Turf Co. 678-403-2339. That's 678-403-2339. Or visit atlturfco.com.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
I have to give you full credit. You listening right now. You have made this station what it is. You have even made this morning show what it is. Because without you, it doesn't exist. None of it exists. So I thank you. I know Los feels the exact same thing. We're so grateful that you spend time with us. We could not thank you more.
This audience has created a political factor in this state, and it has now brought people who are looking to get your ear and earn your vote, and they make it a point to want to come through here. And that's different than what it was 5 years ago, and certainly when the vision of this place started about 6 years ago, it was with the hope of maybe it'll grow into this.
At some point. I don't think they, just to be completely honest, I'm not sure even ownership expected it to grow to the point that it has as quickly as it has.
To see people that are, because we've had gubernatorial candidates, to have somebody like Ted Cruz who made it a point to come through here yesterday, that I believe is even beyond their wildest expectation, and certainly mine as well.
Mine too.
I just thought I was going to jump in front of this microphone and tell people the way it is for quite a while. It's right. Like, there's a little bit more than that now.
Yeah, absolutely right. There's a place for that, though, right?
Sure. It's a lot of fun.
Telling people, this from that and what you should be looking for. What should you be paying attention to? That's so valuable. But then having people like Greg Dolezal, who sees the value of being in front of you the day after the primary, the day after the runoff. He values your vote. He values your time, and he values this radio station the same way that you do and I do and Los does and everybody does. It's just been a political factor that I never thought I'd be a part of.
It's not Tug and I, it's y'all, so thank you.
100%.
It's very cool.
June means it is American Red Cross and the Atlanta Braves All-American Blood Drive presented by Delta Airlines, the 18th season. When you donate, they'll give you a pair of tickets to a game and a T-shirt and a Delta Stadium bag, too. Plus, you can get a Power Red donor on site and that means you'll get additional specialty gifts. So giving the gift of blood, you get gifted too. If you want to learn more about it, go to 680 The Fan, which is our sister station, 680thefan.com/blood drive. Where do we want to go first? Because there's a couple things you want to get to.
Let's hammer the pretzel moment. Let's do this.
This made me laugh out loud so much because Los has coined pretzel moment, and he's been using it for 5 years. And I watched one happen in real time, and I wanted you to hear it. Listen.
What is a woman?
This might sound really philosophical, but I think woman is more of an experience.
I can see what you mean by that. Like, women is a collective experience that is very cultural into itself.
So anyone could be a woman?
No. People can be appreciative of a culture. For instance, I can be appreciative of Nigerian culture, and I can act within it, but I feel like I'm getting in a weird gray area there. Because I was going to say, but I'm never going to be Nigerian. But then we got...
ethnically.
I'm never going to be ethnically Nigerian. But then I'm seeing where this is leading. And then it's getting into a trans thing. So let me wait. Because if I say I would never be Nigerian, then like a trans woman who's like, well, I'm a trans woman and I'm experiencing...
Yeah, a trans woman has always been a woman.
That is when their own logic is turned against them and they realize, because then what was happening, she started to hit the whole, well, am I doing cultural appropriation?
That's exactly right.
I don't do that.
She was trying, and she was doing the math as she was speaking. Well, I can't say this because that means that. You mean you just can't be honest? Is that what you mean?
Let's be very simple. I have XY chromosomes. You have XX chromosomes. And
done deal.
If we want to go even further, if fully healthy, you have the capable of reproducing. I do not, in terms of carrying a child to term. Now, doesn't mean that because if you can't, it doesn't make you a woman. It's just pointing out that the way that our health was intended, you can, I can't. Pretty simple. It's not difficult.
It's not, but it was for her.
Now, let's move over into the Frenchman.
All right, so real quick, I have the full thing and I have just the last 30 seconds.
Play the full thing. We'll just see how long we can get it. This man made the trip to Buc-ee's. Again, World Cup, Frenchman in our country, Buc-ee's visit.
I saw the end of the world in the US, and it's called Buc-ee's. They say it's a gas station, but that's a lie. A gas station has a sad sandwich and a coffee machine that never works. This place has 120 pumps. 120. Why? Are you refueling the US Air Force? Are you preparing for an alien invasion? That's terrifying. And the mascot is a beaver in a baseball cap. I saw grown men taking photos with a statue of a rodent. In France, we have revolutions. In the US, you bow down to a squirrel on steroids. And inside, the aggression. A man with a knife screaming, a fresh brisket on the board. Sir, calm down. I just want a water. Don't kill me. But I have a problem. I wanted to hate it. I wanted to be the superior Frenchman snob. But then I ate the beaver nuggets. I don't know what is in them. I think it's sugar, butter, and pure methamphetamine. I ate one. Then I had the whole bag in the parking lot like a wild animal. And the toilets, I have to admit it, but they are nicer than my apartment. You could eat the brisket off the floor in the bathroom. It's cleaner than the hospital. So I have failed. I came to judge and I stayed for the snacks. I don't have the hat, but in my heart, I am wearing the hat. God bless the beaver.
God bless the beaver.
They have a logo that is a beaver in the baseball cap. He's like, what are you trying to do? Refuel the United States Air Force? That's so great.
He's a glorified squirrel.
Dude, I had a hard time.
I mean, he starts by wanting to crap all over it, and then he's like, but it was really good.
He was like, I could eat the brisket off the bathroom floor.
And as he pointed out, he had the beaver nuggets. He ate them all in the parking lot like a feral animal.
God bless the beaver.
God bless the beaver.
That's so fantastic.
Got to enjoy what's happening.
God, so fantastic.
All these foreigners that are in our country, and they are, in fact, there's a British woman who's been touring. So she went to Whataburger yesterday, and she was like, my God, this is incredible.
What is this?
What is this? It's a huge burger.
This is totally different from the World Cup stuff, but it's along the same lines. I don't know if you've ever seen, they take like American food, particularly barbecue, and they give it to these school kids. And they just lose their minds on how great it is. And their description of it is completely wrong, but it's completely amazing at the same time. People have been lied to about America. They've lied to so many people around the world for so long. and all you have to do is get here, and you're like, oh.
You walk around, you're like, this is actually pretty nice.
This is quite amazing.
There was a gentleman that I saw who was talking about the heat that is in Britain. And now this was from May. He's like, it basically got, and he went through the calculations. He's like, basically it got to 95 here. He's like, it's never 95. And as he's describing this, he's pointing at the central heating and air thermostat in America. And he's like, we don't have this.
Some of the air conditioners.
Yes.
He's like, every house has an air conditioner. It's crazy.
He was shocked.
Yes, absolutely right, dude.
He's like, it's cool all the time.
Yeah, right. Just on demand. God bless America.
So thank you, Central Heating and Air, for taking care of that sort of work.
Chuck and his team will hook you right up.
God bless the beaver.
And God bless the beaver.
God bless the beaver.
Fresh brisket on the board.
Dude, that God bless the beaver, that can be used out of context, I believe. I feel like there's going to be moments.
God bless the beaver.
When that will be used inappropriately. For Bryce and Los, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
God bless the beaver.
Need more than just headlines on your ride to work? It's the Morning Extra, live from 6 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.